welcome you in. That's not it. And we welcome you into the CSI softball complex a bit late as we had to scramble to get our setup coordinated in the final minutes ahead of first pitch. Rain was in the forecast, and the College of Staten Island was hit with some very heavy rain about an hour ago, but the forecast is now clear, and we anticipate temperatures in the mid to high 70s throughout the rest of the afternoon as the College of Staten Island takes on St. Thomas Aquinas in an East Coast Conference softball doubleheader. Very quickly, Emily Korick, the starting pitcher for the College of Staten Island, has recorded the first 2 outs of the game, retiring Melissa Sadler and Nicolette McDonald. The rest of the St. Thomas Aquinas starting lineup is as follows. Now at the plate is Amanda Schweitzer. In the cleanup spot is Amanda Castro, batting fifth, as I need to pull up a full roster to get everything we need here. So Carissa Della Vecchia will be batting fifth. Batting sixth is Renee Gadsden. Batting seventh is Tara Hagan. Batting eighth is Kaylee Peterson. And batting ninth is Jaylene Santiago. The flex player at second base is Kim Astrologo. As we really had to scramble to get set up ahead of first pitch, so I apologize for my lack of organization right now, as we should get set in between the top and bottom halves of the first inning. The count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Schweitzer after the first 2 Spartans to face Emily Korick were retired quickly in the top half of the first inning. The 1-2 pitch skips in for ball 2. Here comes the 2-2 pitch, and that is off the inside corner for ball 3. Count now full on Schweitzer. Schweitzer comes in leading Stack in batting at .397 on the season. 31 of 78 at the plate. Here comes the payoff pitch from Korick, and that's popped up on the infield. Elizabeth Moore is there, and she makes the catch to retire the side. A 1-2-3 first inning for Emily Korick in the circle. The Dolphins come to bat with no score when we come back for the bottom half of the first inning. And welcome back inside the CSI softball complex. Dolphins and Spartans heading into the bottom half of the first inning with Samantha McPherson leading things off for the College of Staten Island, as I will slide over to my left and try and operate both the scoreboard while providing play-by-play commentary. The count 0-1 on McPherson, who pops one up on the infield, and a pair of Spartans converge on it and make the play, as that was Astrologo over at second base making the catch for the first out of the inning. Elizabeth Moore will be the batter. And she swings and misses at the first pitch she sees for strike 1. Here comes the 0-1. And that one's lined into right field, but right there to make the play is Kaylee Peterson for the second out. That will bring up Isabel Gallo. Gallo comes in hitting at .269, 14 of 52 on the season. And that one misses up high for ball one. In the circle for the Spartans is Carissa Della Vecchia. Just like Emily Corrick before her in the top half of this inning, she's recorded 2 quick outs as the count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike on Isabel Gallo. And the 1-1 is swung on and missed by Gallo for strike 2. Della Vecchia 1 strike away from a 1-2-3 bottom half of the first. Here comes her 1-2 pitch. And that misses down low. Count now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the 2-2 is fouled back. So Gallo will see at least 1 more. Two balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. The pitch from Della Vecchia fouled away. Isabel Gallo about to see a third 2-2 offering. And that one skips in about 10 feet short of the plate. That runs the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Isabel Gallo. Claudia Porcaro would be next. And the 3-2 pitch misses up high for ball 4. So Isabel Gallo draws a 2-out walk. And that will give Porcaro a chance with 2 away in the bottom half of the first inning. Porcaro comes in hitting at .226 on the season. 12 of 53 at the plate with 6 extra base hits. 4 doubles, a triple, and a home run. In her first at bat of the afternoon, she swings at the first pitch she sees and comes up empty for strike 1. And looks at that pitch on the outside corner for strike 2. So it's a quick 2-strike hole for Porcaro at the plate. And the 0-2 pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. So Porcaro strikes out on 3 pitches. Dolphins strand 1 over at first in their half of inning number 1. We remain scoreless after the first inning of play.
Up to make sure someone is okay.
Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Notify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us
to intervene.
Because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
And we're back on the ECC network. No score through the first inning of play as Emily Corrick and Carissa Della Vecchia both putting up a 0 in their first inning of work in this game. As we tried to rush onto the air just ahead of first pitch, I did not provide the starting lineup for the College of Staten Island in this game, so I'll try and find that amidst a stack of paperwork on the commentary desk in front of me, and if I can dig it out of this stack of papers, I'll go through the starting lineup for the College of Staten Island. But for the Spartans in their half of the second inning, it will be 4, 5, and 6 due up after Emily Korek set the Spartans down in order in the top half of the first inning. Amanda Castro will be the batter. She comes in hitting at .362 on the season. One and 0 the count on Castro. And she takes ball 2. And a 2-0 sails up high for ball 3. And the 3-0 pitch misses downstairs for ball 4. So it's a 4-pitch walk issued by Korek to open up the top half of the second. So Carissa Della Vecchia will be the batter. Della Vecchia, the third leading hitter for the Spartans at .329, and she will raise that batting average just a bit right there as she lines one into left center field for a base hit. Moving first to second was Castro, and the Spartans have the first 2 on in the top half of the second inning. Uday Gadsden coming to the plate. Gadsden hitting at .245 on the season. 12 of 49 at the dish. And the first pitch from Korek is in for a called strike 1. Gadsden on the season with 7 runs batted in, lays down a bunt here. Korek is there. Her throw to first off the back of the runner and into right field. That will bring home the first run of the game. In to score is Castro. Moving up to third is Della Vecchia. And on with a bunt single is Uday Gadsden. Pending the ruling on that play, but that was going to be awfully close at first. It was a good bunt by Gadsden. Tara Hagan is the batter. Hagan with very limited plate appearances on the season. She's 2 for 15 as she takes ball 1. Time has been called as the Dolphins will realign their infield. Head coach Eric Kraut motioning for Garrett Comuhendo to move in. And that one's ripped into straightaway left, and Carry-On will have to play it on a hop. Into score is Della Vecchia. Moving from first to third is Gadsden. And with the Dolphins missing the cutoff on that throw, Hagan is able to move from first to second. It's a single for Hagan at an advance on the throw. And that will bring up Kaylee Peterson. Peterson will be looking for her first hit of the season, has only had 3 at-bats. First pitch to Peterson, who shows bunt, and it is bunted over toward third. McPherson's throw to first in time. The throw home is not in time. So the Dolphins get the out at first, very nearly turn 2. But Gadsden slides in safely at the plate, and the Spartans now lead 3-0. Moving from second to third is Hagan. Now 1 away in the inning, and Jaylene Santiago will be the batter. Santiago also with very limited plate appearances on the season. She's 1 for 9. Chance to pick up an RBI from third base as Cork's first pitch sails up high for ball one. If Santiago could pick up the run from third, the RBI would be her second of the season. As the 1-0 from Cork is in at the knees for a called strike. Ahead of the next at bat, I do have the starting lineup for CSI that I promised when the inning got underway. As that pitch from Cork misses outside for ball two. Two balls and one strike the count. And the pitch from Cork is on its way. That's a big swing and a miss. As Santiago couldn't catch up to the fastball. The count now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Big out to get here for Cork if the Dolphins hope to strand that runner at third, and Santiago barely got a piece. Spartans designated hitter barely able to stay alive on that swing. Another 2-2 pitch upcoming from Cork. And that off-speed pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. A good breaking ball from Cork, who picks up the strikeout, and there are now 2 away. Back to the top of the order for the Spartans with Melissa Sadler coming to the plate. Sadler, a .313 hitter, 30 of 96, as that's in for a called strike 1. Very quickly for the Dolphins in the field. At first base, Jacqueline Cateridge. At second base, Garrett Comohendo. At short, Elizabeth Moore. At third, Samantha McPherson. In left is Jessica Carrion. In center, Claudia Porcaro. In right, Victoria Whalen. Behind the plate, Isabel Gallo. And in the circle, Emily Corrick. Alexandra Montella is the Dolphins' designated player. She will be batting 9th. As the 1-1 pitch sails up high. Count now 2 balls and 1 strike. Here comes the 2-1 from Cork. And that's on the inside corner for a called strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Cork looking to limit the damage here in the second. And way out in front of that off-speed pitch was Sadler as she goes down swinging for strike 3. So the Spartans do strike for 3 runs in the top half of the second. Our score 3-0 heading into the home half of inning number 2.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we're back here on the ECC Network. Bottom half of the second inning about to get started. And Jacqueline Cateridge fouls back the first pitch she sees for strike 1. Cateridge comes into today's action hitting at .269 on the season as she looks at ball 2. Check that, make it ball 1. Second pitch of the at-bat, count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Cateridge 14 of 52 on the season. CSI's third leading hitter. And after swinging through that pitch, she's behind in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Comes the 1-2, and that's fouled straight back. We apologize for any technical issues with the stream right now, as our internet connection is not cooperating with us outside, going in and out so far during the broadcast. We're trying to work on that as we bring you CSI Dolphins softball. And the 1-2 pitch is off the outside corner. Count now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dolphins behind 3-0 early in this game. As Caterage lofts one out to shallow right field, and that is a nice diving catch out there in right by Peterson for the first out of the inning. That will bring Victoria Whalen to the plate. Whalen comes in hitting at .213, 10 of 47 on the 2021 campaign. And the first pitch to Whalen is swung on and missed for strike 1. After this next pitch, I will run through the Dolphins lineup from top to bottom. And Whalen fouls that one away for strike 2. As we've already seen, Samantha McPherson led things off for the College of Staten Island. Elizabeth Moore, the shortstop, hit second. Isabel Gallo, the catcher, was batting third. Claudia Porcaro, the center fielder, was in the cleanup spot. Jacqueline Caterage, first baseman, led off this inning, is batting fifth. Victoria Whalen bats sixth. She's at the plate right now and goes down on strikes for out number 2. The seventh place hitter is Jessica Carrion. She's in left field. Batting eighth is the second baseman, Gorette Comuhendo. And batting ninth, the designated player, Alexandra Montella. Carrion 8 of 50 on the season, and she looks at a called strike 1. Carrion's made some great plays in left field for the Dolphins so far in 2021 as she swings through the 0-1 pitch for strike 2. We've seen her hit both left-handed and right-handed this season, but with first base unoccupied, looks to slap that ball to the left side as that's lofted foul into the Spartans' dugout. Count remains 0-2 on Carrion. Carissa Della Vecchia looking to make it 6 up and 6 down. Here comes her 0-2 pitch, and Carrion doesn't offer at that one. Count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the 1-2. And that's low. Carrion has worked the count back even at 2-2. Comuhendo would be next if Carrion can keep the inning going. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. And that's fouled straight back. For Stack, this is their season finale. The last 2 games on their schedule, they come in at 21-7, 15-5 in ECC play. As Carrion pops one up just beyond the infield, it lands on the dirt behind second base for the first Dolphins base hit of the game. For Carrion, that is hit number 9 on the season and 51 at-bats, and Gorette Comuhendo will come to the plate with 2 outs and 1 on. Comuhendo 5 of 43 on the season, and that bunt comes up empty for strike 1 as Carrion stands over at first, and Comuhendo offered at that one for strike 2. Good speed at the plate, good speed on first base. Dolphins hoping to manufacture a 2-out run as Comuhendo swings through that pitch for strike 3. So Comuhendo goes down on 3 pitches to bring the bottom half of the second inning to a close. Our score remains 3-0 through 2 here at the CSI Softball Complex.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experience as possible.
And we're back here on the ECC Network. Dolphins trailing the Spartans by a score of 3-0, entering the third inning. For the Spartans in the second, 3 base hits, plated 3 runs, and those base hits, or at least the last of those 3, not hit hard. It was a bunt that brought home the 3rd run for Stack, but they drove the ball into the outfield a couple of times in the second inning. Good swings off of Emily Korick early in this game. Stack now making their way through their batting order for the second time, as it was the leadoff hitter, Melissa Sadler, who made the final out in the second. That will bring Nicolette McDonald to the plate to open up the third. McDonald, a .243 hitter, 17 of 49, make that 17 of 70 entering today's game. I knew 17 of 49 didn't sound quite right. Here comes the first pitch to McDonald, and that's in for a called strike 1. McDonald 0 for 1 in the game, and she takes downstairs for a ball. One ball and 1 strike the count. The pitch from Korick on its way, and that's it sharply to short. Moore has it, and her throw in time for out number 1. A 6-3 putout opens up the third inning. And that will bring up Amanda Schweitzer. Schweitzer 0 for 1 in the game. And Korick's first pitch skips in for ball 1. I mentioned Schweitzer coming in, Stack's leading hitter at .397. As she hits that one well out to the left, Carry On is there and makes the catch just shy of the warning track for the second out. Carry On plays a very deep left field, and we've seen her make some incredible catches out there, specifically in the left field corner. Those plays came against Queens College, a doubleheader the Dolphins split. As Korick's first pitch misses upstairs to Amanda Castro. Castro drew a walk in her first at bat. Here comes the 1-0. That sails upstairs for ball 2. Chance of here we go Castro from the Spartans dugout as we await Korick's 2-0, and that's down and in for ball 3. 3-0 the count. And the pitch from Korick is down low for ball 4. So it's a 4-pitch walk issued by Korick with 2 away in the top of the third. And that will give Carissa Della Vecchia a chance with 2 outs and a runner on first. Della Vecchia 1 for 1. Be looking for her second base hit of the game. And she takes up and in for ball 1. Della Vecchia, a left-handed thrower and a left-handed batter. And Korick's 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed. A good off-speed pitch there. Had Della Vecchia swing over the top of it. That evens up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Here comes the 1-1 pitch, and that's on the inside corner for strike 2. One and 2 pitch upcoming from Emily Korick, and that's up and away. Korick hoping to keep her team within 3. Della Vecchia looking to keep this inning going. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count with 2 outs in the third. And that is swung on and missed for strike 3. A good off-speed pitch from Corrick once again, who picks up another strikeout. That is her third of the game, and that sets down the Spartans, who strand a runner in the top half of the third. Our score remains 3-0 heading into the...
For me, just kind of was the glue that kept my family together, I feel like. I don't know what it was that drew me in, but after I started playing for a while and started seeing some early success as a little kid, to see how much it meant to my parents to see me play the game and try to make a difference was really what fueled me to keep playing and stay competitive. Being a triple major is not necessarily easy, but at the same time it is what you make it. Being a tighter-knit university, I have a lot of classes with the same professors, so they know me pretty well. I think it's that personal relationship that really helped me to thrive as a student. I was able to come here and get my triple major, as well as play a super high level of baseball against some of the best players in the country. There's a lot of options here in Division II with a lot of great ball players and a lot of great people, and they make sure that they give you every opportunity to succeed on and off the field.
And we're back here on the ECC Network. Our score remains 3-0 in favor of Stack entering the bottom half of the third inning. 9-1-2 due up for the College of Staten Island, beginning with Alexandra Montella. Montella with limited plate appearances this season for the Dolphins. Only 14 at-bats. Has one base hit in those 14 plate appearances. For Montella, this is her 9th game played and her 6th start. Many Dolphins have been forced to start every game. That includes 8 of today's starters, as Montella fouls that one back. Comuhendo, Carrion, Moore, Whalen, Porcaro, Gallo, Cateridge, and McPherson have started all 18 for the College of Staten Island to this point in the season. As Montella quickly falls behind 0-2 and swings through that pitch for strike 3. So Della Vecchia picks up the strikeout of Montella. That is her 4th. And it's back to the top of the order for CSI with Samantha McPherson. McPherson 0 for 1. And the first pitch of her second at bat is down and away. McPherson came into today's action hitting .351, 20 of 57. And the 1-0 is popped up foul beyond the bleachers over my right shoulder, where for the first time this year we do have fans here at the CSI Softball Complex. Baseball welcomed in fans for the first time this season yesterday, as the 1-1 skips in for ball 2, but it was great to have the fans back over at baseball during yesterday's doubleheader. Certainly made their voices heard in a Dolphin sweep of Deauville just up the hill on the baseball diamond. The 2-1 pitch finds the zone for strike 2, and the count on McPherson now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the 2-2 pitch, and that's hit through the left side for a base hit. So McPherson continues to swing a hot bat for the Dolphins. She's on with a 1-out single, and that will bring up Elizabeth Moore. For Moore on the season, she came in hitting only .164, 10 of 61. Those 61 at-bats led the Dolphins as she fouls back that first pitch. Of Moore's 10 base hits, 3 have gone for extra bases. 1 double, a triple, and 1 home run. Here comes the 0-1. And that's off the outside corner. Evens up the count at 1. McPherson, the runner at first. Isabel Gallo on deck. And that one's fouled away. Count now 1-2 on the Dolphin shortstop. Here comes Della Vecchia's 1-2 pitch. And that's hit well out to deep left center field. And that one will roll onto the warning track. Going first to third is McPherson. And into second base standing is Elizabeth Moore with a 1-out double. 2 in scoring position for the Dolphins with Isabel Gallo coming to the plate, as CSI will look to cut into this stack lead. That's as well as Moore has hit a ball this season, at least out of those that have stayed in the ballpark. Her home run came on the road. It was a grand slam. I believe that grand slam came at Mercy in a game the Dolphins ultimately lost 12-10. Gallo behind in the count, 0-1, and she takes up high. This is vocal as the Dolphins dugout has been in the infancy of this game. The fans behind me making noise after that Moore double, as the extra base hit ignites the crowd, and that swing and miss puts Gallo behind in the count, 1-2. Gallo with 8 runs batted in on the season has a chance for at least 1 more here, maybe 2. And Gallo just got a piece to stay alive as she fouls that one back. Count on Gallo remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. McPherson, the runner, on third. Moore stands at second, 1 away in the Dolphins' half of the 3rd inning. And the pitch from Della Vecchia is swung on and missed by Gallo for strike 3. So Gallo sent back to the Dolphins' dugout, a strikeout victim, and that will bring up Claudia Porcaro. Porcaro struck out on 3 pitches in her first at-bat. A base hit here could bring the Dolphins within 1. And Porcaro takes outside for a ball. Porcaro entered today's game 12 of 53 at the plate with 6 extra base hits. And she took a big cut right there at that 1-0 pitch, but came up empty for strike 1. Porcaro certainly has the power to tie this game with 1 swing, but CSI would certainly settle for a base hit. Here comes the 1-1 pitch, and that's fouled straight back. Count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Della Vecchia 1 big strike away from escaping trouble in the 3rd. 1 swing could pull CSI to within a run or even up the score, as that pitch sails high for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. The 2 sides now even at 3 hits apiece. Dolphins looking for number 4 here. And Porcaro fouls that one back as well. Della Vecchia forced to work hard here in the 3rd inning. Porcaro hoping to make her work just a bit harder. Another 2-2 on its way. And that is swung on and missed. A high fastball gets by Porcaro for strike 3. So the Dolphins are turned aside in their half of the 3rd. They strand a pair. Our score remains 3-0 Spartans heading into the 4th.
Wayne State Medical School has been my dream medical school since I was 5. Athletics are important, but so is service, so is research, so is becoming a better person. And we expect you to do well athletically, but don't forget the reason you're here, which is to give back to your community and to get good grades. It was my sophomore indoor season. It was the first year with our new head coach. And he comes in and he's like, we could be a national contending team if you guys work hard. And I heard him and I was like, well, I want to be a national champion. I want to be an All-American. And I bought in because he bought into our team. And I qualified to go to indoor nationals. I decided I wanted it, so I went and grabbed it.
And welcome back inside the CSI softball complex. Dolphins with a chance to put their first run of the game up on the scoreboard in the bottom half of the 3rd, but they strand 2 in scoring position after Carissa Della Vecchia picked up 2 big strikeouts. First, Isabel Gallo set down on strikes, followed by Claudia Porcaro. And it will be Emily Korick returning to the circle for CSI, trying to keep her team within 3. As for the Spartans, it will be Rene Gadsden leading things off in the road half of inning number 4. Here comes Cork's first pitch of the 4th inning, and that is a great drop pitch as Gadsden was way out in front for strike 1. When Cork has fooled these Spartan hitters on that off-speed pitch, she has fooled them badly. But Stack has gotten several good swings as Cork is all smiles following that swing and miss for strike 2. Will be interesting to see if Cork triples up on that off-speed pitch with a 2-strike count. And that was a fastball that Gadsden just got a piece of and chops foul. Oh, 0-2 the count on Gadsden. As the home plate umpire will walk the softball back out to Cork. Looks like Gala may have needed a moment after that pitch as she had a word with Samantha McPherson as well. The home plate umpire will dust off the plate and buy a few extra seconds for whoever it is that needed them. And the 0-2 pitch is upcoming from Cork here, and that sails up high. Count now 1 ball and 2 strikes on Gadsden. Tara Hagen stands on deck. And once again, Gadsden a bit out in front of that 1-2 pitch. She swings through it for strike 3. 1 away now in the top half of the 4th. And the aforementioned Tara Hagen will step to the plate. First pitch to Hagen is off the outside corner for ball 1. As the home plate umpire has a word with Hagen following that first pitch. Hagen 1 for 1 with a run batted in this game. She fouls that pitch away and evens up the count at 1. One rough inning for Cork in this game. That was the second. Has otherwise remained in control. Della Vecchia had to labor through the 3rd, but unlike Cork, she was able to put up a 0 despite a pair of Dolphins base hits and 2 in scoring position. Cork now ahead on Hagen, 1 ball and 2 strikes. In search of her 5th strikeout, and she's got it as Hagen goes down swinging for out number 2. That will bring Kaylee Peterson to the plate. Peterson 0 for 1 with a run batted in the game. And the first pitch to Peterson just misses for ball 1. Spectators wanting to know where that pitch was. I almost called it a strike, but I'm not calling the balls and strikes as the 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed by Peterson, evening up the count at 1. Here comes the 1-1 from Cork, and that's up high for ball 2. I think I might be the only one with a better view of the strike zone than the spectators. That, of course, outside of the home plate umpire, but here at softball, we're seated right behind home plate. The spectators in the bleachers about 3 feet over my head. That's where row 1 begins. As the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs in the inning, and we will see at least one more 2-2 pitch after that one's fouled back. Spectators here at the CSI Softball Complex always make their voices heard and express their displeasure with any call, whether it be behind the plate or out in the field. Here comes another 2-2 pitch. And Peterson looks like she held up, and they'll check with the first base umpire who agrees. Count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes on Kaylee Peterson. Here comes the payoff pitch, and Peterson tried to check the swing, but got a piece of it with the bat and fouls it away. And fortunate break there for the Dolphins, as that would have been ball 4. Jaylene Santiago would be next if Peterson can get on. Here comes the 3-2 pitch, and that's chopped over to short, and Moore can't handle the hop. And no need to make a throw there, as once she bobbled the ball over at short, Dolphins lost the play. That will be the first CSI error of the game. And that will give the aforementioned Santiago a chance. Emily Cork has been victimized by many Dolphins errors so far this year, as CSI is at a very difficult time in the field during certain games, and they've been clean to this point. That error, the first of the game between the two teams as well. As Jaylene Santiago will step into the box and face Emily Cork with 1 on and 2 outs here in the 4th. As Cork's first pitch is fouled away. There was rain in the forecast for approximately 1 p.m. Fortunately, that did not come to pass, as the weather forecast cleared up about 15 minutes ahead of first pitch. And since we can't broadcast with inclement weather, we rushed to get our setup situated ahead of the first pitch of this game. And fortunately, able to get on the air in time to bring you ECC softball as Santiago pops up to bring the top half of the 4th inning to a close. Our score still 3-0 Spartans when we come back for the bottom half of the 4th.
For me, just kind of was the glue that kept my family together, I feel like. I don't know what it was that drew me in, but after I started playing for a while and started seeing some early success as a little kid, to see how much it meant to my parents to see me play the game and try to make a difference was really what fueled me to keep playing and stay competitive. Being a triple major is not necessarily easy, but at the same time it is what you make it. Being a tighter-knit university, I have a lot of classes with the same professors, so they know me pretty well. I think it's that personal relationship that really helped me to thrive as a student. I was able to come here and get my triple major, as well as play a super high level of baseball against some of the best players in the country. There's a lot of options here in Division II with a lot of great ball players and a lot of great people, and they make sure that they give you every opportunity to succeed on and off the field.
We're back here on CSI Sportsnet. Our score 3-0 since the top half of the 2nd inning, as the Dolphins will look to crack into the run column for the first time today with 5, 6, and 7 due up. Caterage, Whalen, and Carry-On for the College of Staten Island in the home half of the 4th, as Caterage fouls that one away. Jacqueline 0 for 1 in the game. Dolphins' 3 hits belong to Carry-On, McPherson, and Moore, as that misses away for ball 1. Both teams with 3 hits in this game, but Spartans making the most of theirs, as they played at 3 runs in the top of the 2nd. And Caterage fouls back that 1-1 pitch for strike 2. It's easily the warmest weather we have played softball in. As ahead of the break, I mentioned rain was in the forecast, but sun shining brightly over the CSI softball complex on this Sunday afternoon. The perfect weather to welcome back the uncovered spectators in the bleachers behind me and scattered around the outfield wall as well. We have some in right field down the line, and the CSI baseball team has made their way here. Thanks to our engineer, Joe, for passing along that information. I cannot see the right field corner from where I'm seated. As the 1-2 to Caterage misses down and away. And great to see our CSI Dolphins student athletes supporting one another. The softball team was in the stands yesterday for all of baseball's doubleheader against the Uville. And right there, Caterage looks at ball 3 off the outside corner. So a full count to open up the bottom half of the 4th. Dolphins looking for a leadoff base runner. Della Vecchia looking for strikeout number 7, as that's fouled away. Count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Okay. And that is swung on and missed for strike 3. So Caterage goes down on strikes for the first out of the inning. And we have a guest joining me on the broadcast. And David Pizzuto takes the second headset as he takes the seat to my right.
Hey, Joe, can you hear me?
I can.
All right.
Make sure our levels are good.
All right.
And everything appears to be good as we have to check that audio booming to make sure that we're not deafening any headphone users.
Yeah, Joe, I was listening to the first couple of innings on my way here, and aside from that, rocky second inning for Corrick, and Dolphins have been getting it done defensively, and they've matched the hit total for Stack on the scoreboard, and just were unfortunate last inning not to scratch a run in.
2 chances with 2 in scoring position and a pair of strikeouts for Della Vecchia, and 2 big spots as Victoria Whalen gets ahead in the count 1-0 here, make it 1-1 after that last pitch. As that swung on and missed for strike 2.
Yeah, you got to give Della Vecchia a lot of credit, too, for hanging in there that last inning, Joe, and getting outs when she's really needed them. That one inning that gave her trouble.
As the 1-2 pitch sails up high for ball 2. As time is called by the home plate umpire. And looks like Amanda Schweitzer will be given a moment with the dust swirling around home plate. I've already gotten some into my eyes, hence the sunglasses, as you came equipped with a jacket. No need for that today, Dave.
No, definitely not. I needed it earlier this morning. I got caught in that rain that you guys were talking about, too. I think it hit me first before it hit you guys.
We got hit with a couple of separate waves as Whalen goes down swinging for the second out, and that will bring up Jessica Carrion. But wave 1 was a bit tamer, and then wave 2 was a torrential downpour. And we weren't sure we'd make it onto air, but we got there just in time. I believe we made it for the second pitch of the game. So close. 2 away in the home half of the 4th. Jessica Carrion at the plate. And the first pitch from Della Vecchia is chopped back toward the circle. Della Vecchia fields it and makes the throw over to first in time to retire Carrion for out number 3. Our score remains 3-0 heading into the 5th. Stack over CSI.
Wayne State Medical School has been my dream medical school since I was 5. Athletics are important, but so is service, so is research, so is becoming a better person. And we expect you to do well athletically, but don't forget the reason you're here, which is to give back to your community and to get good grades. It was my sophomore indoor season. It was the first year with our new head coach. And he comes in and he's like, we could be a national contending team if you guys work hard. And I heard him and I was like, well, I want to be a national champion. I want to be an All-American. And I bought in because he bought into our team. And I qualified to go to indoor nationals. I decided I wanted it, so I went and grabbed it.
And we're back here on the ECC Network. Top half of the 5th inning about to get underway from the CSI softball complex. And Spartans lead the College of Staten Island by a score of 3-0. Top of the order due up for Stack with Melissa Sadler getting things started.
Yeah, and if you're St. Thomas Aquinas, you feel good about being up 3-0, but I'm sure they'd love to scratch a few more runs across here on Corrick, touch her up a bit more, keep her working.
It's been 3 very quick innings for Corrick and then 1 not so quick in the second, but she's been in control outside of that 1 inning. She's pitched well in this game. A couple of hard hit balls in the 3rd. One of those base hits was a bunt, and Those are the 3 hits Corrick has allowed. As Sadler hits one out toward right center, Porcaro moving to her left, and she makes the two-handed catch for the first out.
Yeah, that sun is hanging just above us, Joe, and above the camera. So that's what these fielders will be dealing with a little bit as well. So a nice job by Porcaro.
Unfortunately, I chose to wear all black today, and it is not serving me well right now, as it will be the second place hitter for the Spartans coming to the plate. That is Nicolette McDonald. And McDonald takes up high for ball 1.
Going back to that inning, that big inning for Stack in the second, Joe, was that walk, that 4-pitch walk, came back to haunt and come back in and score in that inning. Of course, the bunt where the throw hit the runner in the back, that run comes in to score. And it's those little mistakes that a team like the Spartans are able to kind of cash in on. And that's why they're such a good team. That's why they're 21-7. They really make you pay for those small mistakes that you make.
Fortunately for the Dolphins, they did not pay for their error in this game as it prolonged the last inning, but Emily Corrick able to record the third out. Unfortunately for CSI, that has not been the case in a couple of games this season. Have also been the beneficiaries of some costly errors late in games, as Corrick is now behind on McDonald 3-0, and she takes up high for ball 4. So it's another 4-pitch walk from Corrick.
Yeah, now with one out, we'll see if Stack elects to put one down here or swing away up by 3 runs. And again, their ability to make mistakes like that hurt have been their calling card all year.
Well, we've seen bunts in all sorts of situations so far this season at baseball and softball. And if they do lay down a bunt here, the Spartans would be asking their leading hitter, Amanda Schweitzer, to lay one down.
I was just going to say that. She has one sacrifice this season, but up 3-0 with an out, I think she's swinging here. No doubt about it.
I agree with you, Dave, and I tried to make predictions, bunt or no bunt, yesterday. I was largely unsuccessful.
Yeah, it's a source of contention for you guys.
Sure is, as that's hit well out toward left center field. 2 Dolphins converging, and Porcaro calls off carry-on to make the catch for the second out.
Yeah, that one hung up there for a while, and it gave Porcaro and carry-on both the chance to get under it. And Porcaro, with the running start, is able to track it down and make the nice catch. And now it's up to Castro with 2 outs.
A busy inning out in center for Porcaro. She's covered quite a lot of ground, ranging to her left for the first put out and to her right for that second. As the first pitch of the at-bat is up high for ball 1, moving towards second and being tagged out over at second base is McDonald for the final out of the inning. So Amanda Castro will have to wait until the next inning to get her chance at the plate. Dolphins will trail 3-0 heading into the bottom half of the 5th when we come back here on CSI Sportsnet.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
And we're back here on the ECC Network. Dolphins still trailing the Spartans by a score of 3-0 heading into the bottom half of the 5th. For the College of Staten Island, it will be 8, 9, and 1 due up in the home half of inning number 5 with Gorette Comohendo getting things started.
Yeah, Dolphins now down to their last 9 outs here in this one, Joe. So it's getting late early, and the Dolphins are going to need some base runners to start. And Comohendo, who leads the Dolphins in walks this season, would like to earn any way on at this point and give her top of the order, which has been the most potent part of this order, Joe, a chance to get some things started here in the 5th. It could be their final opportunity going around the order against Della Vecchia with the way she's pitching.
And CSI doesn't have to get it all at once, but as you said, Dave, it would benefit them greatly to try and scratch out a run or two here in the 5th inning. As you said, the top of the order looming behind the on-deck batter, Alexandra Montella. And for the top of the CSI lineup, could be the very last time they get to the plate. As Comohendo does show bunt and comes up empty, she bunts right through that pitch for strike 1. Comohendo in the game, 0 for 1 at the plate. And the Pitch from Della Vecchia is swung on and missed by Comohendo, who went up the ladder for that one.
Yep. Comohendo's been a real bright spot on this team with her work in the field. But she has struggled from the plate this season. She does slap a ton and does look to do this most of the time.
As that swung on and missed for strike 3. So Comohendo, a strikeout victim for the second time in this game. And Alexandra Montella will be the batter. She's 0 for 1 with a strikeout as well.
Montella, of course, in the lineup. Corrick is pitching only in this game. Gives a player like Montella some added at-bats this season.
Well, I mentioned it earlier in the broadcast. Of the Dolphins starters, 8 of them have played and started every game. As the 0-1 pitch is swung on and missed by Montella for strike 2, as Della Vecchia has been throwing that fastball right by these last 2 hitters.
Yeah, you mentioned the 8 with 8 starts. Corrick would easily be that number 9 until she got injured.
As that 0-2 pitch misses outside for a ball.
And, it's interesting to know, too, that, she's on the losing side of this game right now as the pitcher, but she hasn't pitched in well over a week.
1 tough inning so far for Corrick and 4 very good innings. She's only allowed a hit in that 1 inning as well. 3 hits in the game, all coming in the second.
Yeah, and again, considering that this Spartans team, comes in with a 280 batting average as a team, well over 400 in slugging percentage. She's done a good job.
Montella hits that ball well through the right side, but she hit it too well.
I'm sorry,
too
Joe.
Well.
No, definitely too well. And it was Kaylee Peterson who had perfect positioning on it. She was shallow enough where she was able to field that, Joe, just really on one hop. Perfect glove and a great throw over to first.
Spartans couldn't have drawn it up any better on a 9-3 putout, as they had some time to spare on that one. And that is no fault of Montella. She hit the ball hard. That will give Samantha McPherson a chance with 2 outs and nobody on, as I'm sure the Dolphins would have liked to see McPherson bat with a runner on base.
Yeah, it's just another one of the reasons why Stack is such a potent team. That time it was all about positioning, almost like having a second baseman.
As we'll see if they can make a big play here, and attempting the basket catch on the slide was Castro. And
yeah, she's slow getting up too, Joe.
Yeah, tough to see exactly what happened through the fence, but she slid toward that dugout fence, and I'm not sure if she made contact, but she is walking over toward her position and appears okay.
Yeah, Schweitzer got up a little gingerly as well, but she looks to be fine as well, and I think that was really the reason for the no play on that, Joe, was that they were bearing down so hard on one another. They had to pull up. Both of them had to pull up at that very last second, and it's a new life for Samantha McPherson.
With the bases empty in a 3-run game, I think that's the best result possible for the Spartans, right, rather than risk the collision. Comes the 1-1, and that's fouled away. Count now 1 ball and 2 strikes on McPherson. Elizabeth Moore would be next if McPherson could keep the Dolphins alive. Two outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. The 1-2 from Della Vecchia is off the outside corner for ball 2. Good off-speed pitch, and some of the Spartans wanted that call. They don't get it.
Yeah, McPherson has that high strike zone, too.
She fouls that one straight back, and strike zone really shifts quite a bit with this Dolphins lineup, especially from the bottom of the order back up to the top. You have Carrion and Comohendo with the smaller strike zone, and then McPherson and Moore shifting that strike zone upward a bit. Here comes another 2-2 pitch, and that's up high.
Yeah, good pitch by Della Vecchia, though, because Dolphins have offered at that pitch before, especially even in the count at 2-2. Now she'll have to make a payoff one here.
Here comes that payoff pitch, and that's on the outside corner for a call, strike 3. And I think McPherson knew it as she is sent back to the dugout, a strikeout victim to bring the 5th inning to a close. Our score heading into the 6th, 3-0 Spartans.
Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. live sports and watch parties to Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island. Be sure to check out the Kettle Black's monthly calendar of events, only at kettleblackbar.com.
And we turn back the clock right there for our last ad from the Kettle Black, an August 2019 event calendar. So we hope some of you got to enjoy some of those events at Kettle Black. Now, almost 2 years ago, that is from our last broadcast ahead of this spring 2021 season, which has now entered its final week, and that final week kicks off with CSI Dolphins softball. Dolphins trail the Spartans by a score of 3-0.
And a busy one, too, Joe. Dolphins, there is some rain in the forecast that might knock out some of these games upcoming, but Dolphins setting out here with a 6-game and 4-day roll. They're supposed to play Bridgeport tomorrow in a day that's seeing its rain in the forecast, and then they're due to play Malloy 48 hours later on Wednesday.
Well, they have to get those games in, so we will be on the air at some point this week, assuming they don't play in any inclement weather.
Yeah, and then we wrap up on Friday with a doubleheader, CSI versus Queens in baseball. So plenty of innings to be had here on CSI Sportsnet.
So Amanda Castro gets her chance at the plate after a caught stealing brought the previous inning to a close. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes as Corrick is looking for strikeout number 6. And that one's chopped over to second, and the sure-handed Comohendo has it, and she throws out Castro for out number 1.
Yeah, she's been good all year, Joe, at second base, really making those routine groundouts routine. And sometimes that has not been the case that we've seen at times this season from both of our teams, softball and baseball this season. But Comohendo's been a bright spot on the diamond.
I say it all the time. Make the routine plays look routine, and you'll have a good chance of winning each and every game that you accomplish that. And, of course, Della Vecchia fouls back the first pitch from Cork for strike 1. But errors will hurt you most of the time, and the teams that can avoid being doomed by errors are typically a lot of the very best teams that make most of the plays. And the Spartans certainly qualify as one of those teams. Have been clean in the field so far. Only 1 error for the Dolphins, who have played well defensively this game. And they'll say Della Vecchia went around on that swing for strike 2.
Yeah, that's interesting there. I thought Della Vecchia definitely held up.
You and me both.
But she didn't really protest all that much, so maybe she knows she got caught there. Still a tremendous hitter, even with 2 strikes.
Comes the 0-2 pitch. That's up and away for ball 1. And I didn't even see her wrists break. I thought she just turned the shoulders. I just assumed it wasn't a swing, and I apparently saw it incorrectly. The 1-2 pitch from Cork is on its way, and that's inside for ball 2. She'll ask where it was, and I thought it was inside.
Yeah, I thought so too. Carissa's right at the lip of that batter's box, so she is hugging that strike zone.
And that's in for a called strike 3, so Della Vecchia goes down looking for out number 2, and Cork gets her 6th strikeout.
Yeah, and if that first one was inside, Joe, that was right down the meat of the plate. As try to hit that outside corner, Corrick got that and then some, and gets another strikeout. And Stack is trying to get things started now with 2 outs.
With 2 away, Renee Gadsden comes to the plate. Gadsden 1 for 2 with a strikeout and an RBI in the game, as she falls behind 0-1. Here comes the 0-1 from Cork, and that's outside. Cork changing speeds well in this game. Has had really the bottom half of the Spartans' order very off balance at times. And there's another example of that right there, as Gadsden couldn't hold the swing back.
Yeah, definitely fooled Gadsden with that pitch, and now has the pitch count in her favor at 1-2, so Emily has plenty of options here at this point with this next pitch.
Gadsden's been way out in front of that off-speed drop pitch in her last 2 at-bats, as she just gets a piece of that one. Sometimes it looks like Cork may be throwing at 3 different speeds. Has that really slow drop pitch, a less pronounced breaking ball, and then the typical fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count with 2 outs in the top half of the 6th. And that misses up and away.
And Cork does have, history with this team. When last she pitched a couple of years ago, she was, of course, a member of NYIT, no longer a program within the ECC, and transferred over to CSI.
As that fastball is fouled back, and that prior experience certainly helps, though a lot of the faces may not be too familiar to her at this point, 2 years removed from her last action in the ECC. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch from Cork is hit on the ground softly toward third. McPherson chooses to make the play, and her throw is in time. So nicely done by McPherson, who could have chosen to allow that ball to roll foul. Instead, she throws out Gadsden for the final out of the inning. Bottom half of the 6th upcoming from the CSI Softball Complex. Dolphins still trailing 3-0.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we're back here on the ECC Network. 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Dolphins, who trail by 3 as they are down to their final 6 outs in Game 1 of today's East Coast Conference doubleheader. Elizabeth Moore steps into the right-hand hitter's batter's box and grounds the first pitch she sees foul. Moore 1 for 2 in the game, had that long double.
And if you're Della Vecchia, obviously with a 3-run lead, you can elect to just stay aggressive against these bigger CSI hitters at the top of the lineup.
A 1-2-3 inning could go a long way towards securing this win for Stack. The top of the Dolphins order has proven to be dangerous throughout this game and this season. A bit more inconsistent toward the bottom half of that order, as that one's in for a called strike.
Yeah, Della Vecchia's delivery comes in so low and it kind of stays there. It's so hard to offer at that strike.
And that one skips in.
Sometimes when you see it rising in the strike zone, it looks so meaty, but her delivery is low, the ball stays low, and it's kind of hard as a hitter to offer at that.
I've always maintained how enticing the high fastball can be in both baseball and softball. Hitters just can't help but chase that pitch up the ladder sometimes, and we've seen it on more than one occasion in this game already. Two balls and 2 strikes, the count on Moore. And she fouls back another one.
Yeah, Moore had a good cut against Della Vecchia earlier in this game, and getting her timing down once again, looking to put one in open space somewhere in that outfield.
Easily the loudest Dolphins base hit of the game was by Moore on that double. And she keeps going as that one lands in the front row of spectators over our right shoulder.
I mean, we didn't have that problem the first few weeks of the season, but now that there are fans here.
Good problem to have as Moore takes down low for ball 3.
Yeah, and I know these players appreciate it. I've even heard some of the Stack fans behind us as well arguing balls and strikes, but for all these kids, it's a great experience.
Comes the 3-2, and that's it on the ground over to short. The play is made, and the throw is in time to get Moore for the first out of the inning. Isabel Gallo will come to the plate with 1 out, and the base is empty. in search of her first hit of the game. She's 0 for 1 with a walk. Gallo had the first of 2 chances with runners on second and third. That was earlier in the game with the Dolphins trailing 3-0 at that point. That remains our score right now as Gallo looks at ball 1. Want to know the count on Gallo. Here comes Delavecchia's offering, and that's fouled back. Dolphins' hits have been from Jessica Carrion, Samantha McPherson, and Elizabeth Moore. Gallo looking to join that list here. Here comes the 1-1 pitch, and that skips in.
It's like the second or third time in this inning that Delavecchia has bounced one in on a couple bounces. You wonder if she's laboring just a bit.
Those are free pitches for the Dolphins. That one will not be offered at, you'd hope, as that swung on and missed for strike 2. Should mention, too, Alexandra Montella nearly had the 4th Dolphins hit, but was thrown out from right field as the product of hitting the ball just too hard.
Yeah.
Here comes the 2-2, and that's up high for ball 3. Another full count for Delavecchia. He's had to work hard early in this 6th inning. Payoff pitch upcoming, the count 3-2. And Gallo goes down on strikes once again, so another strikeout for Delavecchia. That's number 11 in the game, and Claudia Porcaro will be the batter.
And that's the thing, you know, every time Carissa has needed a good pitch, she has really delivered. And that was a great strike, the rising ball up in the strike zone. Gallo couldn't stay with it.
As Porcaro takes strike 1, and I think Moore is the only one to catch up to that pitch in this game. She drove it to left center. Dolphins haven't really hit the ball too hard otherwise, with the one exception being that Montella out. As Porcaro can't catch up to that pitch, and she's quickly in a 2-strike hole.
And I think I can count on one hand, Joe, the amount of times I've done Sportsnet covering softball where we've covered a southpaw pitcher in the circle.
And that southpaw now has 12 strikeouts.
Yeah, 12 strikeouts are the result.
So the Dolphins go down 1-2-3 in their half of the 6th and will still trail 3-0 when we come back for inning number 7.
My dad was a soccer coach and bought this little book bag. I could sit in the book bag like facing backwards and with like my legs out. So I'd be in his book bag when my dad coaches and the ball's going around. I'm like kicking at the ball in the back. And my dad was like, "We have a prodigy." So he put me into soccer and it just progressed from there. The catalyst was the opportunity to play soccer at a Division II school. On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do. Be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
And we're back here on CSI Sportsnet. Dolphins still trailing by 3 as they face the potential of a shutout in this game. That being said, Emily Corrick has pitched very well. 5 great innings and 1 inning where she allowed 3 base hits, one of those a bunt hit, but unfortunately for the Dolphins, 3 runs came in to score in the second.
Yeah, and you know, Joe, I don't have Stack's season numbers in front of me game by game, but you can probably count on one hand the amount of times they've been held to 3 hits or less in a game this season, but that's where they are. They've, you know, Corrick has only allowed the 3 hits. She's had a couple of walks, but she's done her job in the circle, and now it's just a matter of keeping them on that 3 spot so that they have a chance with the minimum part of the order to tie the game up next inning.
So Tara Hagan will lead things off for the Spartans in the 7th. She takes high for ball 1 and is in search of her second hit of the game. 1 for 2 at the plate, and that's it out toward right field. Whalen moves to her right and makes the catch for out number 1.
Yeah, well hit that time, but again, just getting under it, not able to drive it far enough, and Whalen, as she's been doing all season, has been terrific in right field, and she catches up to that one easily.
Dolphins' outfield play in this game has been perfect. And I mentioned earlier some of the great plays Jessica Carrion has made in left throughout this season, 2 of those coming in another ECC game against Queens. 2 diving catches in that left field corner saved at least 5 runs in that game, as Carrion hasn't been too busy in this one. Kaylee Peterson is the batter and fouls back the first pitch she sees for strike 1. Corrick's 0-1 sails upstairs to even the count at 1. Peterson is 0 for 2 in the game, does have a run batted in. He's choking up fairly high on the bat, as that's taken outside for ball 2. For Corrick, the pitch count is at approximately 97 in the game. Here comes number 98, and that's up high.
Yeah, it remains to be seen who the game 2 starter is going to be for the Dolphins. We've seen Nicole Rivera get a lion's share of the second starts in doubleheaders as of late.
She was throwing ahead of game 1 outside of the Dolphins bullpen alongside that third base dugout. Don't believe I saw Jacqueline Cateridge throwing, as another 3-2 pitch misses up high for ball 4. So we've seen a lot of full counts in this game, and on that 3-2 pitch, Peterson draws the walk.
Yeah, so that time Corrick couldn't get her pitch, much like Carissa Della Vecchia has been getting that payoff pitch right down the heart of the strike zone, or getting CSI players to swing and miss. We know who the game 2 starter is going to be for Stack. It's going to be Paige Toothaker, who's been just brilliant.
That's hit well out to right. Whalen moves back and makes it look easy, as she will throw behind the runner at first, but that throw is not in time.
Yeah, you said it, Joe. Made it look easy. That ball came off the bat very, very quickly, and Whalen had to be right on top of it from the get-go, but she never hesitated.
I don't think that's something I said more than once yesterday. They made it look easy in the outfield, as the outfielders are being chased all over the place by the ball, and the wind carrying it out toward the wall, and it was a nightmare for especially anyone who played right field. I can't really fault the right fielders for the Dolphins or the Saints yesterday, but it was a rough, rough day. As behind in the count, 0-1 is Melissa Sadler, and it's quickly an 0-2 count as they throw behind Peterson at first, but she slides back in.
That was a nice throw by Gallo, too, down the first base line. Cateridge just had to wing her glove backwards, but they almost had the runner there at first.
0-2 the count on Sadler, and that's low for ball 1.
Yeah, and ultimately in that game, on that baseball, game 1 of the doubleheader anyway, came down to a drop fly that allowed the Dolphins to score the go-ahead runs, and that's all she wrote.
As that's hit softly to third, McPherson has it, and she throws out Sadler for the final out of the inning. So the Dolphins will enter the bottom half of the 7th, trailing by 3, down to what could be their last turn at bat. Dolphins come to the plate after this break.
Wayne State Medical School has been my dream medical school since I was 5. Athletics are important, but so is service, so is research, so is becoming a better person. And we expect you to do well athletically, but don't forget the reason you're here, which is to give back to your community and to get good grades. It was my sophomore indoor season. It was the first year with our new head coach. And he comes in and he's like, we could be a national contending team if you guys work hard. And I heard him and I was like, well, I want to be a national champion. I want to be an All-American. And I bought in because he bought into our team. And I qualified to go to indoor nationals. I decided I wanted it, so I went and grabbed it.
And we're back here on the ECC Network. Bottom half of the 7th inning about to get started. 5, 6, and 7 due up for the Dolphins, who are down to their final 3 outs, trailing 3-0.
Well, Joe, last time CSI played Stack, they lost 13-0 and then 10-4. So this is, this 3-0 spot right now, and if they could scratch away a run, it's a good moral victory, but the Dolphins want to get a victory out of this. They have a chance. The minimum amount of batters can tie this game up.
They will look to Jacqueline Cateridge to get things started, and she hits one on the ground to second and is quickly thrown out by Astrologo for out number 1.
And Whalen, who had a great top half of the inning in the field, will now try to get the Dolphins started here, bottom half of the 7th.
Well, not to be lost in this game, but the Dolphins trailing by only 3 runs, now down to their final 2 outs. A great game in the circle for Emily Korick.
Yeah.
She breezed through the Spartans lineup in every inning except for the second. Didn't have more than a single base runner in any other inning.
Yeah, and 2 of those runs that came in, one of them was on a 4-pitch walk, which I'm sure she'd love to have back, and the other was sacrifice bunt. Turned into a single. Ends up being another base runner that scores a run, and it's just those little mistakes that I'm sure she'd love to have back as Schweitzer battling the dust coming in her eyes.
Yeah, that is definitely a factor. As without the sunglasses, I'm not sure I could call the game, as it keeps the dust out of my eyes. And I actually lost them in the brush over at soccer. I had to go retrieve them before the game as we were getting the tables for setup. My sunglasses were gone, and I found it buried in the dirt as that's chopped over to the circle by Whalen, and she's thrown out by Della Vecchia for out number 2.
Yep, and somewhat lost in the line score is the tremendous game that Della Vecchia's had in the circle as well as a fielder. That's just another one. Simple one-hopper makes it look easy. But those things those kind of choppers right up the middle tend to handcuff certain pitchers. But with that righty glove, able to corral it pretty easily.
Well, Della Vecchia 1 out away from getting the recognition she deserves as the winning pitcher. Jessica Carrion hoping to keep things going for the Dolphins. And
it would be her 5th shutout if it stands.
Shutout is certainly something pitchers chase instead of just the victory when you get this close to it. And Della Vecchia now 1 strike away. And that's pulled on the ground over to second, hit softly, and Astrologo throws out Carrion to bring game 1 of today's ECC doubleheader to a close. The Dolphins go down 1-2-3 in the bottom half of the 7th. They suffer a shutout defeat. Our final score in game 1 is the Spartans 3 and the Dolphins nothing. Dave and I will rejoin you on the air at some point before game 2, hopefully within the next 25 to 30 minutes. Until then, thank you for watching, and be sure to join us right back here at this link for more ECC softball.
And welcome back, everybody, to CSI Sportsnet's continuing coverage of CSI Softball Game 2 between the CSI Dolphins and the St. Thomas Aquinas Spartans. Just about set as CSI takes the field. Joe, the Dolphins hung in tough, but ultimately a 3-0 defeat in Game 1, and they bring out Nicole Rivera for Game 2.
Well, Game 1 was a well-pitched game by both sides, so a tough act for Nicole Rivera to follow. It was a strong start for Emily Korick of the College of Staten Island. Gave up only 3 runs in that game and 3 base hits. As for Stack, Carissa Della Vecchia got the start and picked up the win. And Della Vecchia in that game did a phenomenal job. She recorded the shutout, limited the Dolphins to just 3 base hits in that game as well. So the College of Staten Island really struggling at the plate a bit in Game 1, not scoring a run, of course, but Stack also with only 3 hits. They just made the most of their opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And they send out basically just about the same lineup as in Game 1. You mentioned Carissa Della Vecchia gets another start here in Game 2, and it'll be Melissa Sadler, Nicolette McDonald, and Amanda Schweitzer here, the top of the order for Stack, the minimum that could face Nicole Rivera. First pitch swinging and cut on, gathered in on a hop by McPherson, and safe at first is Melissa Sadler. She beat it out with the infield hit.
It's been a busy day for McPherson over at third base, and she made several good plays during Game 1 right there. Waited for that ball to get to her. Didn't charge very hard, and just beating it out on the play was Sadler. It was a strong throw from McPherson, but not enough.
1 pitch, 1 hit for the Spartans, and that'll bring up Nicolette McDonald. Number 2 hitter McDonald 0 for 2 officially as Gallo gets that one that ends up in the dust. Nicolette did reach base via a walk in Game 1. For Sadler, that was her first hit of the afternoon. She went 0 for 4 in the opener. Pitch number 2 from Rivera that makes the high part of the strike zone, the count 1-1.
Yeah, it's your turn to try and look around at the scoreboard and try and see through the fence post to call balls and strikes. Sometimes you miss a pitch, and then you're weaving around trying to catch it.
Squaring up to bunt. Laid down, gathered by Cateridge to throw to first in time as Komuhendo was covering. And all the way around getting to third was Melissa Sadler.
Heads up base running on that play by Sadler as she takes 2 bases. The throw is a bit low over to Cateridge. It was scooped out nicely in the dirt. And unfortunately for the Dolphins, Sadler never stopped running, and they didn't see her before it was too late. Though I'm not sure it would have mattered as she had 3 on her mind all the way.
Yeah, I don't think so, as Schweitzer now is up at bat, takes one low for a ball, 1-0. So Sadler gets on via the infield hit and advances to third via the sacrifice bunt by Nicolette McDonald. And that one is low for ball 2. And that one's in there, dead red for a strike. So Nicole Rivera gets her first strike as the count goes to 2-1. Sadler, the runner at third. Here is the 2-1 pitch. That one's upstairs for a ball. 3-1 is our count now to Sadler. To Schweitzer, I should say. Schweitzer in game 1, 0 for 3 as the top of the order went a combined 0 for 9. And that one's hit on the ground to Komuhendo. She gathers, fakes the throw home, and gets it in time to first base. Second out registered. Very well done by Komuhendo.
So nicely done by the Dolphins infield to keep a run from coming home, as Rivera is now 1 out away from escaping the first inning unscathed. As the first pitch is in for a called strike 1 to Amanda Castro. And that's hit sharply and through the hole on the left side for a base hit. That is an RBI single for Amanda Castro. And that puts Stack in front early by a score of 1-0 behind a pair of first inning base hits and a sacrifice bunt. That will bring up Carissa Della Vecchia, who will be the starting pitcher in this game. Count 1-0 on Della Vecchia. Della Vecchia in game 1 was 1 for 3 at the plate. She scored a run, also struck out twice. She's ahead in the count here, 1-0, and that's upstairs for ball 2.
So 2-0 now the count to Della Vecchia, who skies one high in the air to Komuhendo. She charges under it, makes the catch, and that concludes a sterling job in the field by Komuhendo in the top half of the first inning. But Stack scratches a run across on 2 hits. It's the Spartans 1, the Dolphins 0, with the Dolphins coming to bat.
My dad was a soccer coach and bought this little book bag. I could sit in the book bag like facing backwards and with like my legs out. So I'd be in his book bag when my dad coaches and the ball's going around. I'm like kicking at the ball in the back. And my dad was like, "We have a prodigy." So he put me into soccer and it just progressed from there. The catalyst was the opportunity to play soccer at a Division II school. On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field is a positive correlation to whatever else you do, be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
So Carissa Della Vecchia takes the last of her warm-up throws, and the Dolphins will have their turn here in the first inning. Dolphins surrendered to 2 hits in the top half of the first. Good plays in the field, Joe, but timely big hit scratches that run across.
Well, you mentioned it during Game 1. Garrett Comohendo has been fantastic for this Dolphins team at second base. Initially, she was able to keep the first run of the game from scoring, a fake throw and a look over towards third, holding the runner there. But unfortunately for the Dolphins, the next batter came through with a base hit as Amanda Castro gives Stack the first inning lead with an RBI single.
So it'll be Samantha McPherson, the leadoff hitter for the second straight game for the Dolphins, and Della Vecchia deals for the second straight game. First pitch was a strike, and that one is cut on and hit towards the outfield, giving chase, but unable to get to it was Tara Hagan, and it's going to be a stand-up double for Samantha McPherson, who gets to touch Della Vecchia here on the first at-bat of the game.
After a 1-for-3 Game 1, Samantha McPherson continues to swing the bat well, and that's been the case just about all season. Is when McPherson has hit the ball, she's typically hit it well. No different right there.
And Elizabeth Moore now steps up and takes ball 1 on the low outside corner. McPherson's hit streak continues. Della Vecchia working quick and puts one by Moore that time.
Moore also hit the ball well in Game 1 to a very similar spot in left center field. That was her lone base hit in the game, 1-for-3.
That one's too low as Della Vecchia misses for ball 2. Dolphins were unable to get a run across against Della Vecchia in the first one as Moore spoils one foul. They would love to get an early run in this one, Joe.
Absolutely, and we thought that it would be Paige Toothaker who would get the start in Game 2, but the Spartans electing instead to give Della Vecchia a pair of starts in their season finale.
And that one just fouled by Moore. Two-two pitch upcoming here to Liz Moore. Too low, ball 3.
And this is exactly what the Dolphins are looking for early in this game, to make Della Vecchia work after she went the distance in Game 1. Didn't have to work too hard outside of a couple of innings.
Payoff pitch, cut on and hit towards the left side. The throw to first is bobbled, and Dolphins are going to be safe at the corners. McPherson able to extend from second to third. Moore is safe. Joe, that's either an E5 or an E3. What do you think?
That's a tough call. I'd probably go E3 because that throw should have been handled, and it was a bang-bang play. But you could make the case either way. The ball was hit slowly. The throw had to be rushed. So I would go E3.
So Stack, which was perfect in the field in the 7 innings of Game 1, commit their first error. And now there are runners at the corners for Isabel Gallo. Another at-bat with runners in scoring position for Isabel. Gallo in Game 1, 0 for 2 with a walk. The delivery and cut on and missed for a strike there on Gallo. So now the count goes to 1-1.
Gallo had a big opportunity in Game 1 with 2 in scoring position, but struck out. All it will take here is a fly ball, and that will certainly bring McPherson home.
That one's too low for a ball, and the would-be throw to third, I think, went off the helmet of Gallo, Joe. Just skimmed Gallo off the helmet. I mean, we've seen a lot. That's the first time I've ever seen that.
You have better eyes than I do, Dave. I thought the ball slipped out of her hand, and if that hit Gallo's helmet, I didn't catch it, and Isabel had no reaction.
Maybe it did it, but I thought I heard a little bit of a thud, as if it hit off of something.
I would think it had to. I think I just missed it. You have a better angle than I do.
3-1, the count to Gallo. She hits that one, and that one is going to be too shallow. No play at first base. Dolphins score a run on an RBI single for Isabel Gallo. Samantha McPherson scores. It's 1-1.
And a big hit there for Isabel Gallo. Could not come through in Game 1. Comes through early here in Game 2 as the Dolphins are now 2/3 of the way to their Game 1 hit total. So conference at the mound, I should say, in the circle. I did it already early in the game. So now pressure's on. I can't make that mistake again.
Strike up on the board for Joe.
Strike one. So I guess I have 2 more chances as conference in the circle. I did call out of baseball yesterday, so I think I get a pass the first time.
Of course, you get a pass every time. Claudia Porcaro, who's 0 for 3, struck out 3 times against Della Vecchia, looking for her first hit against this pitcher. Count 0-1 now with 2 runners on base. Still nobody out here for the Dolphins. Cut on and miss for strike 2.
Well, the home plate umpire stood right in there and took that one to the chest protector. He is okay and ready to go. Is immediately turning to ask if he was okay with Schweitzer, and he immediately nodded.
0-2 pitch, too low for Porcaro, so the count goes to 1-2.
Porcaro also had a chance with 2 runners on in the last game. She struck out behind Gallo to bring that threat to a close.
Big at bat for her, and that one is fouled and spoiled away. Liz Moore is at second. Isabel Gallo, the RBI single at first.
Still nobody out in this half inning as well. Strong start for the Dolphins. This is easily their best half inning of the afternoon. Of course, they score their first run.
And there's strike 3 as Porcaro caught looking, her 4th strikeout of the afternoon, and Della Vecchia gets the first out here at the bottom of the first. And we'll leave it up to Jackie Cateridge.
That's a big first out for the Spartans as the Dolphins had all the momentum on their side prior to that punch out.
And that one is swung and hit hard to center field, but there to make the catch was Sadler, and having to hold it second is Moore. And Joe, that first run the CSI scored would go down as an unearned run at this point. So if Della Vecchia could get out of this inning, technically she should have gotten out of it at this point thanks to the error. Too high for Whalen. Count go to 1-0. That was hit well by Cateridge, that last pitch. Just hung up there. Hits a straightaway center.
Sure was. Fortunately, the outfield has been playing deep all day.
And that one is hit a ton towards left field. Looking back, but over the wall. Up over Hagen. A 3-run home run for Victoria Whalen. The Dolphins lead 4-1.
And off the bat, there was no doubt about that one, Dave, as Whalen got a hold of it, drove it straight over the left field wall. That ball had some air under it as well. Some arc on that ball hit by Victoria Whalen, and Whalen puts the Dolphins ahead by 3 with a first-inning 3-run homer. For Whalen on the season, that is her second round tripper, and the Dolphins have a 4-1 lead.
Yeah, and you know what, Joe? Carissa Della Vecchia, with that long layoff, about 30, 35 minutes between games here, has to come back out onto the rubber and pitch. And she was victimized by an error. Everything at this point would be unearned. And the stack is down by 3 runs. Carry on. Fouls that one off, 0-2.
So if this game does get a bit closer, would the Dolphins consider going back to Emily Cork during Game 2? As Cork was very successful in Game 1, the pitch count not too high. Of course, they'd love to see Nicole Rivera give them several innings in this game, but I guess we'll wait and see.
But Della Vecchia comes through with a strikeout to end the first inning, but it was an eventful one. The Dolphins get 4 runs, 3 thanks to a home run by Victoria Whalen, and they take a 4-1 lead after 1. More CSI softball coming up after this. Welcome back here to the CSI Softball Complex. The CSI Dolphins with their first lead of the entire afternoon. They lead 4-1. They were blanked 3-0 in the first game, and Nicole Rivera gets to work with a lead here, Joe, in the second inning.
And right there, Victoria Whalen putting the Dolphins in front with a 3-run homer, but this isn't the first time that Nicole Rivera has been handed a big lead. We saw a game against Mercy earlier this season where the Dolphins had a big lead, couldn't hold on, ended up losing that game. We'll see if they can hold on to a 3-run lead in this one.
And that one drops in there for an inside strike for Whalen. That was her second home run of the season. Her first one was a solo shot against Queens very early in the season. And that one is hit on a line towards third base. McPherson had trouble at first and is able to get the throw in time to Caterage for the first out.
And McPherson's strong arm bailed her out on that play. That would have gone down as an E5, but McPherson has a cannon over there at third base and put it on full display to pick up the first out of the inning.
So Renee Gatson will be the batter now, the sophomore third baseman. Rivera looks in on the signs from Gallo and drops that one too low for a ball. And Joey mentioned Carissa Della Vecchia going out second straight game. You know, Paige Toothaker has been the clear number 2 on this team all season long, but she did not start. Leads you to believe that maybe she's banged up for Stack. Otherwise, kind of a odd move to bring out your game 1 starter for game 2.
I'd certainly say so, but Della Vecchia is coming off of a shutout. Didn't throw all too many pitches.
That one is skied. It will stay in fair territory, but right there to make the catch is Caterage. So on the pop out to first, Stack down to their final out here in the second.
Though I will say, if Toothaker is available, I would absolutely be surprised that she isn't starting this game.
Yes, Toothaker's numbers have been brilliant all season long, and this is the final game of the season for Stack until the playoffs start next weekend. So there really is no real reason to keep her out unless she's banged up. But we don't know that information. We do know that, we'll get to that thought in a second. We do know that Stack, this game was originally scheduled for yesterday. Stack had asked for the game to be moved to Sunday, so you think maybe that might have something to do with it. Not sure. It's all speculation. 0-2 pitch for Gatson. She drives that one hard into the outfield. My apologies, that was Santiago, but making the catch there was Porcaro. And 1-2-3 Stack goes in the second. We head to the bottom of the second here at the CSI Softball Complex. It's the Dolphins 4 and the Spartans 1. And Joe, as expected, new pitcher for Stack as Paige Toothaker comes into the game. Her numbers, pretty good.
Very good on the season for Toothaker. She comes in with a record of 9-5. This will be appearance number 16 for her on the season. 14 of her 16 appearances so far in 2021 have been starts. She's thrown 12 complete games, including 3 shutouts in 92 2/3. She's allowed 98 hits, 38 runs, 24 of those earned. She has walked 9 and struck out 53. Opponents hitting at .259 against her.
Yeah, she's actually given up less extra base hits than her counterpart, Carissa Della Vecchia. We thought it was peculiar that Della Vecchia came out and started game 2, but an error, 3 hits for the Dolphins, lead to 4 runs in the bottom half of the first, and now the Dolphins will try and add to their lead against a new pitcher, Paige Toothaker. with Gorit Komuhendo, the batter. Should mention that Toothaker, another southpaw. I can't say that word today, Joe. That's like my kryptonite. Southpaw. It's not that hard. It's like the third time I've flubbed that word.
I'd say it's been a long day, but you haven't been here for the entirety yet.
That's right. That's right. And I wasn't here yesterday either.
Yesterday
Maybe
I was
I'm just
trying
rusty.
to commentate with a full, mouthful of chicken parm. Joe couldn't wait to come back from break. Caught me.
That one is hit on the ground towards first, but it does see itself foul as Castro got the glove on it. 1-2, the count goes to Komuhendo.
Komuhendo in game one was 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts.
In there on the outside corner for strike 3. So Komuhendo down on strikes, and Toothaker faces one batter. Has a strikeout here in the bottom half of the second.
We saw quite a few punch-outs in game one as well between the two teams, 18 of them in the early game of today's doubleheader. Spartans went down on strikes 6 times, the Dolphins 12.
So it'll bring up Alexandra Montella, who takes that same pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. Montella gets her second straight start with Emily Korick out of the lineup as a hitter. And that's cut on and swung late for strike 2.
That was a bit of a defensive cut there by Montella. Way late on that one.
See with what Toothaker is thinking. Bottom of the lineup here for CSI, looking to throw some strikes. And that one is nubbed right in front of Toothaker. She poises herself, makes the throw over to Castro, and there's 2 away.
Well, you said it already, that Toothaker, another southpaw. And we spoke about it before. We hardly ever see left-handed pitchers. We've now seen 2.
Right. 2 different ones in the same game. And it's top of the order for CSI. Samantha McPherson. McPherson 1 for 1. She scored in the first. High and outside for a ball 1. And McPherson came into the game of the active hitters on CSI's team, leading the team in hitting. Korick is the overall leader, but not in the hitting lineup. And that one's hit towards the left side. Great job by Gadsden to get to that one. She fires the strike into Castro, and the Dolphins go 1-2-3 in the second. We head to the third here from the CSI Softball Complex. It's the Dolphins 4 and the Spartans 1. Stay with us. Welcome back here. The CSI Dolphins with a 4-1 lead after a scoreless second on both sides of the box score. Stack gets ready for the top of the third against Nicole Rivera.
Well, I spoke about it during one of our breaks, how coming in, looking at Stack's record, 22-7, expected a potential offensive juggernaut coming into the CSI softball complex that would force the Dolphins into a slugfest. That hasn't been the case so far today. Only 3 runs scored in the first game, and early here in game 2, 5 up on the scoreboard. But Stack bats have been relatively silent today.
Yeah, they only had 3 hits in the first game as well. 3 runs on 3 hits. That one is skied in foul territory. It's going to be a long trek for McPherson and Carrion, who could not get there. So it's just a long strike for Peterson as Rivera is facing the final batter in the order for the Spartans. Sadler is on deck as one of Stack's 2 base hits. That one's on the inside corner for a ball, 2-1.
Peterson was on in game 1 with a walk, officially 0 for 2. Did have a run batted in as well.
Rivera looks in. 2-1 offering is well high. The count will go to 3-1.
With the 3-ball count, Rivera on the season has issued 22 walks and 27 2/3. That number a bit high for that total innings pitched.
Rivera, a true freshman. And that one is golfed into left field, and making the catch there is Carrion. Nice job by Carrion. She had to make up a lot of ground, and there's one away.
She certainly has the ability to cover a lot of ground with consistency, very sure-handed out there in left field, and has played a tremendous left field. As you mentioned, Whalen before, playing a great right field for the Dolphins, and the corner outfielders have certainly been a strength for CSI this year.
So Melissa Sadler, the top of the order, comes up for a stack, and that one is ripped through the left side of the infield. That's going to be a base hit, and Sadler now 2 for 2 on the afternoon and represents Stack's base runner here with 1 out.
Well, after an 0-for in Game 1, Sadler on twice to open Game 2, and that's exactly what the Spartans want out of their leadoff hitter, which sets the table for Nicolette McDonald.
And McDonald reached, no, did she? She had a sacrifice, McDonald, in the first inning, so she's officially 0 for 0 on the day as Rivera hits the outside corner for a strike. Both teams with 3 hits now. The wind and the delivery is once again hit high in the air. Foul territory, not by much, but Carrion could not get there. 0-2 the count.
Carrion, McPherson, and Moore getting a workout over there along the left field line. That is the 3rd time in about 4 or 5 pitches that the ball has been skied right along the left field line or into left field.
Yeah, a couple of wind sprints for them as they jog back to their positions, and Rivera will have an 0-2 count here against McDonald. And that one is forced into right field, but getting under it is Whalen. No throw over to first, but there are 2 away here in the 3rd.
Well, swings like that, it's been tough to generate swings and misses from the Spartans throughout the day. And for Nicole Rivera in the circle on the season, only 4 strikeouts in 27 2/3 entering this game. Not sure if she has one yet in this game either.
No, not yet, Joe. As Schweitzer is up, she got on via the error. No, I'm sorry, there was no error. She's 0 for 1.
If anyone in the Spartans lineup could cut the lead to 2 with an extra base hit, it would be Schweitzer.
And Whalen has to give chase there, but Comohendo comes over to make the catch. Not sure if you could see that on your screen, but Comohendo doing a great job right inside of foul territory. And the Spartans are retired 1-2-3 here in the 3rd. So at the end of 2.5, Dolphins keep their lead 4-1. Welcome back here to the CSI softball complex. The Dolphins with a 4-1 lead as we get set for the bottom half of the 3rd inning of play. Dolphins will go in the order 2, 3, and 4. Elizabeth Moore, Isabel Gallo, and Claudia Porcaro. Moore earned on via the error the lone stack error of the entire afternoon, and would come in to score on what was a 3-run home run for Victoria Whalen. That one is cut foul down the third baseline.
For more, Gallo and Porcaro, they'll each be getting their first look at Paige Toothaker, who came in as the relief pitcher for the Spartans. Carissa Della Vecchia got the start for the second consecutive game and was chased after just 1 inning.
Here's the wind, and that one is chopped weakly to third base. Gatson with the throw, not in time.
Well, that one sort of died.
Yeah, still going to be a base hit for Liz Moore, which just goes to show you, Joe, you don't have to hit the ball a ton. As long as you put it in a place that gives the infielders a long trek to get it. Actually, Gatson did really well to catch up to that and make the throw. Pushed Castro off the base a little bit, but that's a single all the way. Dolphins' 4th of the game. Inside to Gallo, 1-0.
Another lesson we learned there, always run it out. As off the bat, I thought that would be a routine play, and then that ball hit something on the infield dirt that brought it to rest about halfway to third, and that allowed Moore just enough time to beat the throw.
Yeah, Gatson's played well at third base. Snap throw back to first, not in time to catch Moore. Meanwhile, the count will go to 2-0 on Gallo.
Gatson made a very strong throw to end the last inning as well.
Yeah, it was a good throw, too, on the one stack error that came. As ball 3 now to Gallo as Toothaker misses upstairs. But that one stack error came on a would-be 5-3 putout. Error charged to Castro on the receiving end. Here's the 3-0 pitch, and it catches the outside corner for a strike, 3-1.
To be fair, it could have gone either way. They made it a play with the throw from third, but I think there was enough time, even after the throw was dropped, to pick the ball up.
Right.
And that's the differentiator for me.
That one is cut on and hit sharply foul by Gallo. So now Toothaker gets all the way around, and the count is full at 3-2. Moore has showed no signs of taking off. She will be on this pitch, possibly. And that one's hit in the hole and right under the glove of Astrologo. Base hit, the Dolphins' 5th hit of the game. And there are runners at first and second.
Well, I agree with you, Dave, that Moore very well could be running on that pitch. And fortunately for the Spartans, she wasn't, because that ball was hit so hard, Moore had to stop at second. If she was going, she could very well be on third. But for Gallo, that's her 2nd hit of the game.
So Claudia Porcaro now with a chance with 2 runners on base and nobody out. Porcaro looking to square to bunt. Misses on it. Strike 1.
And Claudia, the cleanup hitter, being asked to bunt.
Yeah, she struck out 3 times, 4 times actually, to Della Vecchia on the afternoon. Her first look against Toothaker, she's being asked to bunt, and that one is fouled back, so the count will go to 0-2. And Porcaro undoubtedly will need to be a hitter here.
You have to wonder if those 4 strikeouts factor into that decision to ask your cleanup hitter to bunt. As normally I wouldn't be for the cleanup hitter bunting, as we know.
No, I agree with that, Joe. There's the pitch, and that one is hit weakly towards first base. Castro turns around the throw to first base. Astrologo covering is in time. Works the same as a sacrifice, Joe. Runners advance to second and third. And Stack has registered an out.
I don't think you could have bunted it any better than that.
No, absolutely not. It served its purpose. Doesn't go down as a sack, but serves the same purpose. And now it's Jackie Cateridge's turn with 1 out. And that one hit right back to Toothaker. Looks back the runner at third. Snap throw back to third. Not in time. Runners have to stay put. Great job in the circle by Paige Toothaker to keep the run from scoring.
And it's very important to field your position well in the circle, and Toothaker showed exactly why with that play. We've seen a couple of nice plays on the infield, not just in the circle during this game, to hold runners that could potentially score over at third base with less than 2 outs. That one fits that description, and it's left to Victoria Whalen.
Well, Whalen once again up at bat with 2 runners on base. And that one hits her in the left elbow. And the bases are going to be loaded for Jessica Carrion as Toothaker hits Whalen. And after hitting a 3-run bomb, Joe, First base open might not be the worst idea for Toothaker.
I thought you were implying it might not have been accidental.
Carry on, tries to slap that one, but it lands behind her for a foul. 0-1.
So in today's game, you can accomplish without throwing a pitch what used to take 4, issuing the intentional walk. I'm not sure if that rule still applies to college softball. I know it applies in Major League Baseball.
You just ask for it, it'll happen. Strike 2 as Carry On didn't like it, thought it was outside. 0-2. And strike 3 as Carry On strikes out. Toothaker able to wiggle out of a bases-loaded jam. And we are through 3 complete here at the CSI Softball Complex. The score remains Dolphins 4, Spartans 1. Stay with us. More CSI Softball coming up after this. Welcome back here. Stack down by 3. Gets their turn here in the top of the 4th. As it will be Amanda Castro, the batter. Castro had 2 walks in the first game. And in this one, she is 1 for 1 with an RBI. Stack's lone run. First pitch was low for a ball. Rivera X'd for a clarification and got it. Here's the pitch, and that one is on the outside corner for a strike. 1-1. Here's the pitch, and that one is swung on and hit into the deep infield. Komuhendo is there to make the catch. 1 out.
And if Rivera, though it is premature to think about it, but if she can get through this inning unscathed, she would be well on her way to what would be her best start of the season.
Yeah, no doubt about it. She does have 1 win on the year. I believe that was in that game against Queens, Joe, if I'm not mistaken.
I think Cateridge got the win in that one.
Cateridge did?
Yeah.
That was the early game? I know in the early game, Cateridge got – well, no, maybe she didn't get the win.
No, Corrick got the win in Game 1 against Queens, and then Cateridge got the win in Game 2.
I don't know if that's correct, Joe. Yeah?
Officially, it's correct. Whether or not the official stats are correct.
That is correct. That is correct. See, I thought Rivera had the other win for the Dolphins. She does not. She's actually 0-5 this season, so she's looking for her first collegiate win this year. We're a long way away from that, obviously. We have plenty of softball left. A 2-0 count here upcoming to Toothaker. And she takes down low and outside for ball 3. Toothaker has not got a hit this season in 14 at-bats. She still doesn't, but she gets on via the walk. A 4-pitch walk issued to Paige Toothaker. And for Rivera, that's going to be one that got away, Joe, because Toothaker came into that at bat 0 for 14 from the plate.
I spoke about it before, Dave, how the walks have hurt Rivera, and that's a big reason why she's only surrendered 1 run.
And there is a hit right to the middle of the infield. Komuhendo grabs it and steps on second, as I got a little lost here on my box score, as that was Hagen up at bat. And now it's Rude Gatson. Looking at got lost on the game 1 box score. That one just catching a piece was Gatson. But Stack once again down to their final out to try and make some extended noise here. Toothaker at first, who earned on via the walk. Actually, Hagen is at first, having taken Toothaker's place. Ball 1 misses low.
Dust off home plate here. But as I was saying before that last ball was hit to the middle of the infield, a big reason why Rivera has only surrendered 1 run in this game, she has avoided the free passes largely, and a lot of the time the runners she has put on base via the base on balls have come in to score.
100% as Gatson fouls off another one behind her. The other reason, Joe, is you see the one clear spot on the scoreboard. Dolphins with no errors in this one. So you mentioned how Rivera coming into this game, only 4 strikeouts. That means that her defense behind her has to do their jobs, and they are so far. That one skips in the dirt for a ball. Count goes to 2-2. Looking from Rivera, 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Strike 3 for Gatson. First strikeout of the game for Rivera, and Stack is done here in their turn of the 4th. Dolphins coming to bat in their turn of the 4th, still up 4-1. Stay with us. More softball coming up after this. So the Dolphins coming to bat here in their turn of the 4th inning. It will be Komuhendo, Montella, and McPherson at the least, facing Paige Toothaker, who came on to start the 2nd inning for a Stack in place of Carissa Della Vecchia, who got the start here in this game, yielded 4 runs on 3 hits, coupled with an error. All 4 of those runs unearned for a Stack. Komuhendo, who struck out her first time up, gets to take a look now at Toothaker. That one down low for a ball.
Dolphins had their chance against Toothaker as well. Did load the bases, and Jessica Carrion couldn't come through as she struck out. Toothaker able to escape trouble.
Second pitch fails low again, 2-0.
You mentioned it earlier, Dave. Komuhendo leads the Dolphins in walks, entered the day with 10. The only Dolphin in double digits.
2-0 pitch, swung on and missed, strike 1. As Toothaker able to put one past Komuhendo, who swung late on that one, so the count goes to 2-1. Dolphins left 4 runners on base in that opening game, and that one is a strike. Komuhendo did not like it, but the count will go to 2-2. Here's the pitch. Swung on and hit straight back to Toothaker on the one hop. The throw to Castro is in time for the first out.
That's exactly what the Spartans are looking for, trailing by 3 runs. And against the bottom of this Dolphins batting order, those are the outs they need to get.
Montella will be the batter now. Montella officially 0 for 1. She takes that one for a call strike. Montella part of that 1-2-3 second inning for the Dolphins when Toothaker first came into the game. Looking to give the Dolphins a start here with 1 out. That one is well high for a ball.
And it's important to retire the bottom of this Dolphins batting order for Toothaker, in large part because Samantha McPherson stands in the on-deck circle, and getting the first 2 outs of this inning would be huge.
And that one is hit into the deep part of the infield on the left side, but there to make the catch cleanly was McDonald. And there are 2 away.
Spartans will get just what they want. McPherson batting with the bases empty and 2 outs here in the 4th.
So McPherson, who singled her first time up, is officially 1 for 2. Sees that one low in the dirt for a ball. Toothaker has fallen behind a great number of hitters so far since she's come in, but has worked her way around. And gets even there with a pitch on the outside corner.
Seems to be working away quite a bit.
Right.
A lot of pitches on the outside corner, especially to the right-handed hitters.
McPherson right on the lip of that box, and she puts one right back up the middle, hit weakly enough that Astrologo able to field cleanly, and the throw to Castro is in time. So the Dolphins go down 1-2-3 in their turn of the 4th. We go to the 5th inning of play. It's the Dolphins 4 and the Spartans 1. Welcome back here to the CSI softball complex. The Dolphins have had the lead since their turn of the 1st inning. They are up 4-1. That's the way our score has been. Last 3 innings have been scoreless, and Nicole Rivera trying to make it 4 zeros in a row on the scoreboard for a stack. As she will face Santiago here. Peterson and Astrologo is not batting. So the 8-9-1 hitters will come up. Starting things off will be Santiago, who gave one a pretty good ride to center field her first time up. But a long put out as Stack with only 6 total hits in the entire afternoon. 3 in game 1 and 3 here in game 2. And that one gets away from Rivera, 2-0.
Once again, the Dolphins getting a very well-pitched game from their starter. Emily Corrick went the distance, allowing only 3 runs and 3 hits in the first game. 1 run allowed by Rivera on only 3 hits so far.
And that one hit up in the air towards left field. Carry-on is there, and she makes the catch cleanly for the first out of the 5th.
Rivera's moved through this lineup pretty quickly as well, not just putting up zeros, but getting through this order fairly fast. And another quick first out here in the 5th inning, and with that, the Spartans are down to their final 8 outs.
Peterson now steps up. Her second at-bat. She is 0 for 1, lined out her first time up, and sees that one high for a ball. Dolphins fielding has been tremendous in this one as well. Behind Corrick, that one goes foul as McPherson gives that one a run. Nicole Rivera, a true freshman from Susan Wagner High School, locally here on Staten Island, looking for her first collegiate win of her career. Swung on and missed, strike two.
If Rivera could pick up some more of those swing and misses, she'd put herself in a great position to pick up that first collegiate victory. I mentioned the strikeout numbers for Rivera coming in, only 4 on the season, picked up number 5 today.
And that one just misses low for a ball. 2-2-2.
She thought that should have been number 6, judging by the expression on her face after that call.
Certainly wanted it, but that one did look a little bit low in the strike zone. And up another 3 inches. That's been a strike all game. That one comes inside and fouled off.
We've already said it several times, when the opposing team is putting the ball in play, as they have against Rivera, not only in this game, but throughout the season, you need to be able to count on your defense, and Rivera has been able to do just that.
And that one is fouled off again, third base side. And you know, Joe, the Dolphins finished this season against 3 of the 4 playoff teams in the ECC. They have the double, obviously, today. Stack has already clinched playoffs. And tomorrow they're due to play Bridgeport. They've clinched playoffs, and Malloy has clinched playoffs. So that one is another foul, third base side off the dugout. But, you know, finishing strong here would mean a lot, because these are, you know, 3 teams out of 4 that are going to be playing for an ECC championship. So the Dolphins can hang tough, even scratch out a couple of wins down this last week of the season. Those are things to grow on for next year.
And if I'm not mistaken, Mercy's the 4th team, correct?
That's correct. They've already beaten them once.
And so what I was thinking is, if CSI could take 1 of 2 in each doubleheader this week, that would give them a victory over each ECC playoff team.
Right. And when you think about the fact that earlier this season, Stack won both of those games that they played against CSI, as that one goes in the dirt for ball 3-3-2 by a combined score of 23-4. Already in just a few weeks, Joe, they've come a long way. Dropping on the first one 3-0, and now up by 3 in this one. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Rivera gets her second strikeout of the game, and Stack down to their final out here in the 5th.
And with every out recorded by Nicole Rivera and the Dolphins, their confidence has to be building, and they came out very high energy in this game, too. We saw McPherson getting pumped up over at second base after her first base hit to lead off the game, and the Dolphins are fully invested in this one and energized in part by their fans being in the building as well.
That's definitely true. Rivera has not been able to spell Sadler, though, in this one. Sadler 2 for 2 with Stack's lone run scored. See if she can get the Spartans started here with 2 outs. The count goes to 1-1. Rivera takes a long look in at Gallo. Here's the pitch. And that one is skied in the air, trailing towards foul territory, and no one can get there. Seen that a bunch of times today.
I was about to say that's very familiar territory for Carrion, McPherson, and Moore. And if you're Moore, you hate to have to run all the way over there just to be beat to the spot by your left fielder and your third baseman.
I mentioned last 3 Dolphin doubleheaders. They'll all be here at the CSI Softball Complex. And that one is reached up into and fouled off by Sadler. Weather permitting, we will bring you all the remaining schedule for CSI softball and baseball. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. There's rain in the forecast all 3 days.
Great.
So we'll see if it stays that way. Inside, ball 2, 2-2.
Not as much of a problem for baseball, though. They
Right.
can't play if it's raining heavily before or during the game. Turf here at softball, but if they play, we can't broadcast in the rain.
Right. That one is cut on left side towards Moore. Moore, the delivery to first in time. 3 up, 3 down for Stack in the 5th. We go to the bottom half. The Dolphins still lead by 3. Stay with us. More CSI softball action right here on CSI Sportsnet, now a part of the ECC Network. Welcome back here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. The CSI Dolphins up by 3, looking for some insurance tally, something they've been looking for, Joe, since inning number 2, but they're pretty happy with what they've been able to do to stack offensively here as they've held them to zeros the last 4 innings.
The opportunities have been there for Staten Island, most notably with the bases loaded as Moore is hit by the first pitch of the bottom half of the 5th.
That's the second batter that Toothacre has hit in this one. She hit Whalen earlier in the game, and now Elizabeth Moore is a leadoff runner here on the base pads for Isabel Gallo.
Well, Gallo already has a couple of hits in the game and could help the Dolphins mount another threat with her third base hit of the game right here.
Gallo, one of those players who's been really improving every single day. She's been at the College of Staten Island, catches every single game, which is tough to do in its own right, but has now worked her way to the number 3 spot in the lineup. As Joe mentioned, 2 for 2 today. She has an RBI and a run scored. She came in on that Whalen home run. And now has a runner to work with and Moore at first. There's the pitch, down low, ball 1.
Gallo's average has been steadily climbing throughout the season as well, so the hard work she's put in is definitely paying off, and the stats reflect that.
1-1 the count. She offers at that one and puts it into the outfield. Dolphins, as Moore has to get back to first base. Dolphins were almost doubled up there, as once again in great position was Peterson to make that catch on the line, and there's one away.
Well, Gallo hitting the ball well once again. That one nearly got down, and good job by Moore to get back, because my initial read on that ball was that it was getting down, slicing toward the corner, but Moore had a much better view on it than I did over at first.
Porcaro 0 for 2, and she swings and gets just a little piece of that one for a strike. Claudia 0 for 3 in game 1, 0 for 2 here in this one, looking for her first hit in the afternoon. Could use one here with Moore standing at first base. I think it was Porcaro who hit that weak grounder to first base last time, which was the equivalent to the sac bunt which she was trying to do in her last at-bat. She's going to face a 1-1 here from Toothacre. Too high for a ball, 2-1. Just like you said, Joe, Toothacre continuing to live on the outside of the plate. Two-one pitch, and that one is screamed down first base, but foul.
When you live on the outer half, you see balls like that one hit along that first base line, and like the ball hit by Gallo into right field. A lot of opposite field hitting, especially by the right-handers when you pitch them away like that. And
yeah, you can see Peterson in very shallow right field.
Perhaps shifted a bit there as well.
And that one is on a hop to second. Stack will look to get 2. And it will be a fielder's choice, 6-4. And it'll be up to Jacqueline Cateridge, as Porcaro has taken Moore's spot at first base. So Dolphins down to their final out here in the 5th. But still the lone base runner at first base. And that one is hit right past first baseman, and now it gets past Peterson. Rounding third is Porcaro. Will we have a play at the plate? No, we will not. And Cateridge going all the way into third base. A single and 2 base error gets another run home. A big insurance runner for the Dolphins. They're up 5-1.
And the Spartans had been perfect in the field during game 1, but here in game 2 have made 2 costly errors. That error did not prevent the inning from ending, but it did allow 2 extra bases on the play, as Cateridge, who singled, ends up on third, and the runner on base, Moore, goes from first all the way home as that ball just kept rolling out to the wall once it got under Peterson's glove.
And now with the crowd and dugout excited, Victoria Whalen takes a strike. Whalen with the 3-run home run back in the first. Dolphins have added an insurance run here in the 5th. Too high for a ball, 1-1. So the Dolphins with 6 hits on the afternoon, stacked with 2 errors. Swung on a missed strike 2. It's Whalen down to her final strike.
Well, if Toothacre can get Whalen here, that's another unearned run. And I think that makes 5 if she does retire Whalen.
Yeah, all 5 runs have been unearned for the Dolphins. Now, if Whalen hits a double or a triple, those runs become earned in this inning.
Could maybe make the case on a single.
Right, maybe. Foul back, so Whalen stays in the at-bat. Count remains 2-2. Dolphins 5 runs on 6 hits. 2 Spartans errors have marred this game for the Spartans as they are on the wrong side of a 5-1 deficit with an opportunity for more. Here's the pitch. Getting a piece again was Whalen, foul ball.
I just have to ask, because I presume it's coming over the mic. Any idea what the Dolphins dugout is doing, mooing?
I don't know.
Me either.
Maybe move the runners? I've heard that before.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It sounds like mooing.
There's the ground out to Gatson. Over to first. Castro in time, but the Dolphins do get a big insurance run thanks to a big base hit. Costly error. The score at the end of 5-1 Dolphins. Stay with us. Welcome back here. CSI getting a big insurance run in there. Turn of the 5th. And for Stack, Joe, down to their final 6 outs. And we heard some chants coming up from the Stack bench that every person has to get on. They've been challenged here. And first one is a bunt. Will it be in time? No, it will not. Infield bunt single for Stack to get this one started. Nicolette McDonald is on base.
And this is the inning for Stack to get going. 2, 3, and 4 due up. McDonald on after just 1 pitch with that bunt single. And if Stack is going to make a play to get back into this game, now is the time.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, we were told that we're going to have a pinch hitter coming up at some point in this inning. We're a substitution for Stack. 1 for 9, which means that Kaylee Peterson's coming out down near the bottom of the order for Sinead Albelli. Peterson was the one who made that error, if you remember, Joe, in the bottom half of the 5th. Meanwhile, we're going to have a 1-1 count to Schweitzer. Schweitzer 0 for 2. She has left the runner on base earlier in this game. Gallo fakes the snap throw back over to second.
Is that a case of tough love, substituting out the player who made the error in right field?
I guess. You know, we covered a game at Mercy where their coach was taking players out immediately after they would make an error. That one is skied into center field. Percara with a long stride, glove up, makes the catch. Nice play in the outfield by Percara.
Perfect fundamentals. She has made every catch out in center field today with 2 hands and has not made a mistake patrolling center for the Dolphins so far through 2 games.
So now with 1 out, McDonald remains at first base. Should mention McDonald is 7 for 10 in stolen bases. Of course, Stack needs more than just her to come in. Castro, the batter, with one out. And she hits that one straight up the middle. It's off the second base bag. And going into third is McDonald. And she will hold there. Runners will stay at the corners. One out.
Vera just about got her glove on that one, Dave. She almost made the snag as the ball was hit right back through the circle.
Yeah, that one was not hit really hard, but hard enough to get past Rivera and then skip off the second base bag. And CSI wants some time here to discuss the first and third situation with one out. Dolphins will need to be heads up in the field here.
Sure will, Dave, because we know what's coming. And
yeah.
What will be the answer? As all season long, we've seen runners on the corners, the Dolphins cutting off the throw made to second base, in some cases allowing it to go through and engaging in a rundown in others, but there really hasn't been a concrete answer to how CSI will play that situation. Maybe that's the way they want it, keep teams guessing, but
it's quite possible, and obviously with up by 4 runs, if you want to concede that run coming home, if you know you're going to get the runner at first caught in a rundown, or you know you're going to get her out, do so and take the out that the other team is giving you and concede the run, if that's the plan.
I think that's the right play. I think you concede the run here, Dave.
Up high, and there it was. That similar to a pitch out in that situation. Gallo was able to get up comfortably and getting ready to fire down second base. In any event, Toothaker, who doesn't have a hit this season and doesn't look like she's bunting, Joe. She walked on 4 pitches her last time up. Nicole's got to get in here with a strike.
No doubt about that, and I think a bunt with one out in the spot, it's possible, but I'm not sure if it's likely.
There's a strike. Toothaker taking all the way. Last time she was up, she was walked on 4 pitches. Toothaker for the season, 0 for 14 from the plate, looking for her first hit of the season. It would be a big one for Stack. Now the bunt taken off, 3-1 the count.
The Spartans have a loaded bench if they had wanted to pinch hit for Toothaker and have her re-enter, but instead keeping her in. So maybe a bit easier to beat out a bunt from the left-hand batter's box.
Rivera needs to come in with a strike now. As the bunt, foul ball as it bounced right off the plate. And the count goes to 3-2. So interesting all around here, Joe. Do you continue to potentially lay one down? Do you take all the way? Do you put
the runner in motion? Yeah, from first, I think so.
Bunt fouled, and the batter is out. So 2 outs registered. It's a big out there as Toothaker goes down. And that will bring up a last chance effort here for Tara Hagen. Hagen bounced into a fielder's choice her last time up, but officially 0 for 2. See if Stack thinks about putting that runner in motion now. Potentially inning ender. That one's outside for a ball.
And if Rivera can get Hagen, it would be 7, 8, and 9 due up in the 7th inning.
Right. And a golden opportunity squandered here in this inning for Stack. And that one is golfed into left field. It's going to be a run for Carrion. She won't get to it. Run scores easily. It's 5-2 Stack on a 2-out RBI single for Tara Hagen.
And that's a huge hit for the Spartans, keeping the inning alive. And at the very least, their leadoff hitter, Melissa Sadler, will get a chance in the 7th. But they hope to prolong this inning and get the top of the order, perhaps leading off in what could be the final inning in the 7th. As we may have a change upcoming, and as you mentioned, we do have a change in the batting order for the Spartans upcoming as well if they get that far. And a pinch runner is coming into the game.
Yeah, so Castro out at second base, and in will be Navia Villa. So Villa will be the runner at second base. Hagen will continue to run at first. And it will be Rude Gatson who swings and misses at strike one. Gatson's had a tremendous day at third base. Looking to come up with a big one. She could put one in the gap here. This is a brand new ball game.
And I think if you're Rivera, you have to focus on throwing the off-speed pitch here. Gadsden has been way out in front all day long.
And that one is hit into the outfield. It finds fair territory. 1 run will score. Play at third base. Not in time. Gadsden's able to take second easily. And now Stack is down 2 with runners at second and third.
Well, I think that first pitch was the off-speed. That second pitch was not. And Gadsden got around on it and dropped it into shallow left field. The ball has been finding open space over there all day, many of them in foul ground. That one lands fair, and I think we have a pitching change upcoming, Dave.
We just may, as head coach Eric Kraut meeting with the home plate umpire. And Emily Korick standing on the lip of the infield. Thank you. And it will be Emily Korick who comes in to replace Nicole Rivera and try to keep Stack at bay here with 2 outs. But a fine job by Nicole Rivera today, Joe. But she leaves right now with 2 runners at second and third and with 2 outs. So as Emily takes her practice pitches, we'll step aside, take a break. When we come back, big moment in the game here, top of the 6th. Welcome back here, top of the 6th inning. Big moment in this one. 2 outs, Stack with runners at second and third base. And Jaylene Santiago, who's hit the ball well twice, Joe, at the plate, takes dead red, strike 1.
A base hit here could tie this game. 2 in scoring position for the Spartans. And this is the bottom of the order. Santiago, the 8th place hitter.
That one in the dirt, but gets away from Gallo on the 1 hop. 1 run will score. The play at the plate, not in time. And Stack has cut this to a 1-run game. It's 5-4.
And the Dolphins were so close, 1 out away from escaping unscathed. Now they are 1 run away from seeing this game tied, as the Spartans doing a great job with 2 outs to keep this inning going. And now if Santiago can come through with a base hit, we'll be all knotted up at 5.
What a turn of events here. Dolphins registering that 2nd out, but since then, Stack has been busy. And now a 1-1 count to Santiago. Hits the inside corner for a strike 2. One thing that's notably different between Rivera and Korick is the speed, Joe. And Korick's come in with 2 fastballs that time. Outside corner, just missed, ball 2.
I was trying to see if I could get a wild pitch count on Korick. I don't have it as that one skipped in, but we've seen quite a few balls skip into the plate today.
Yep, both sides. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And the Dolphins are out of the 6th inning, but not before Stack scores 3 runs in their turn of the 6th. We go to the bottom half of the 6th. Staten Island hanging to a 1-run lead. It's 5-4. Stay with us. More CSI softball coming up next. Welcome back here. The Dolphins got themselves a big insurance run in the bottom half of the fifth. Now they're holding on by just that run and would love to increase it before Stack takes their turns in the seventh. Jessica Carrion will be the leadoff hitter for the Dolphins here in inning number 6. Facing Toothaker, who's been in since the second inning for Stack. Carissa Della Vecchia yielding all 4 runs in the first inning. Well high for ball 1. All 5 Dolphins runs in this game unearned.
And that last one, huge, as it's the difference in the game right now. 4 early in the game, but that last one, a really egregious error, 2-base error.
Swung on and missed. Strike 2 for Carrion. Who would love to make contact here. Give the Dolphins a start with the infield in. Here's the pitch, and that one is skied third base. Easy catch for Gadsden, and there's one away.
Well, I said it before that if you're the Spartans, these 2 outs are 2 big outs. I should say 3 outs, 7, 8, and 9. You don't want to see the Dolphins get a chance to get it back to the top of the order, and if they can get a 1-2-3 inning, they will head into the final half inning trailing by just a run.
Gorit Komuhendo sees the first pitch for a strike on the outside corner. Toothaker has pitched admirably in this game. Again, victimized by that 2-base error. In the previous inning, has hit a couple of batters, but otherwise has been strong in relief of Della Vecchia, as she's done all year as a starter. It would be a hard luck, no decision for her. Swung on and missed, strike 2. Usually when you pitch 5-6 innings, Joe, of a shutout softball, you expect to win a game like that. But
absolutely, and both pitchers come in with an ERA under 2.
Outside corner, strike 3. And Komuhendo is down on strikes. Second out for the Dolphins. And it'll be up to Alexandra Montella to try to give the Dolphins a start here in the 6th before defensively they have to head right back out there after a big Stack 6th inning. Outside, ball 1, as Toothaker missed outside as Schweitzer was camped out on the outside of the strike zone. 1-0 the count to Montella, who swings and misses at strike 1. Montella has hit the ball pretty well in this game. A couple of shots, lined shots.
1 to short and 1 into right field. That resulted in a 9-3 putout.
That one is screamed down third base, but foul, as Coach Kraut makes the grab on that one. Here comes a 1-2 delivery. High strike, strike 3. So the Dolphins are out on strikes in their turn of the 6th. We go to the final inning of play. Stack trails by 1, and they'll look to get even in this one. Welcome back here. Last chance for St. Thomas Aquinas, down to their final 3 outs. They're down by just 1, coming off a huge momentum inning where they scored 3 in the 6th. But immediately Sinead Albelli, who came in defensively in the bottom half of the 6th, takes that one high for a ball, 1-1. So if you join the slate, Nicole Rivera, 5+ strong innings for the Dolphins before coming out of the game. The 4 runs her responsibility. Corrick has come in since. Save opportunity for her. The count will be 1-2. That last inning, Joe, for Stack all started with that bunt single that McDonald was able to leg out. Abelli was looking for the same thing there, but takes that one well high for ball 2, 2-2. Corrick pitched the 7 strong innings last game, albeit in the loss. Swung on and fouled off first base side. This is the first time Albelli is facing her today.
In that last inning, all of the damage for the Spartans came with 2 outs. Dolphins were on the doorstep of escaping unscathed.
Corrick takes a lot off of that last pitch, but it misses high and outside for ball 3. So here's a big pitch here in the top of the 7th inning. 3-2 pitch here to Albelli. The deal is swung on and hit towards short. Moore with the field. The throw to first in time for the first out of the inning.
That is a big first out for Emily Corrick and the Dolphins as a leadoff base runner opens up the opportunity for the bunt. That is, of course, off the table here unless Sadler wants to try and bunt for a hit. The on-deck batter, McDonald, did bunt for a single, opening up the previous inning.
Sadler was 0 for Corrick in the first game, but she's 2 for 3 in this one. And she swings at that one well in the dirt for a strike.
Big smile from Corrick after she got Sadler to chase that pitch down in the dirt. And throughout all of Game 1, these Spartan hitters had a really tough time with Corrick's off-speed stuff.
Absolutely. Corrick deals. That one's high in the strike zone and skied into left field. Carry on calling everybody off, making the catch. And the Dolphins are 1 out away from victory. Joe mentioned it before. They have a victory already over one of the ECC playoff teams, Mercy College. That came in walk-off fashion in a 1-run game. And they're looking to take down another ECC playoff team in St. Thomas Aquinas College. 22-7 coming into this game. 16-5 in the conference. Outside for a ball.
For the Dolphins, it would be their first win in 2 weeks since they took a game from Queens back on April 17th, 10-9.
Yeah, that was an extra inning game, you guys called it. It's a pair of extra inning games that day for the Dolphins. They lost the first one, got even in the second. A couple of wild games. But now 2-0, the count here to McDonald, who is 1 for 2 with a run scored. Takes that one for a strike. Looked like McDonald was taking all the way there. Stack out hitting the Dolphins in this game, 7-6. Dolphins don't care about that much. Looking to hold on, 1 more out to go. Wind whipping up. That one 2 outside and low for a ball, 3-1.
Well, as is often the case, errors looming large once again in this game. We saw that yesterday at baseball, and now once again here at softball. 2 Spartan errors have resulted in 5 unearned runs.
And there's a ball. Officially, we have 4 of the 5 runs as earned. That'll have to be fixed at the end of this game. All of Della Vecchia's runs are earned on the official, but that's a mistake. We'll get that corrected.
Well, we decided at the time to just go back and change it.
Correct.
That's easy to take care of. Just a few UEs on the score sheet.
A couple of additions there. Meanwhile, brand new at-bat here.
Very dangerous hitter in Amanda Schweitzer.
Yeah, so Schweitzer is up with the tying run at first base in McDonald. Up high for ball 2, so now the count 2-0, and Schweitzer about to get a hitter's pitch coming up right here. McDonald has wheels at first. She could score on a long single. Dead red, strike one as Schweitzer was taking all the way.
2-0, down by 1 run. Schweitzer has 2 home runs. I wasn't certain she would take.
I wasn't either. Got your best hitter up there. You know how many home runs this stacked team has hit. They've hit 18 as a team. They are no stranger to the long ball.
Della Vecchia has 8.
Yep. 3-1 the count. And gets the outside corner for strike 2, 3-2. And Schweitzer was not amused.
Had a scowl on her face.
Yes,
she sure did, right?
Not happy. Anyway, big payoff pitch here. 3-2. The swung on and hit towards right field. Whalen is there. Moves a couple of steps to her right. Makes the catch. And the Dolphins have wrapped this one up. They take a 5-4 win. The victory for Nicole Rivera. The save for Emily Korick. And the Dolphins snap their losing skid and take a really good win, Joe, over a very good Spartans team.
Absolutely a great win over a great team. And with spectators in the stands the last 2 days, that makes 3 of 4 for the College of Staten Island in baseball and softball. The Dolphins treating the fans to 3 victories over the last 24 hours. And a very entertaining day of softball comes to a close with a CSI win, their 5th of the year.
Nicole Rivera, her first career collegiate victory as she's able to take the win. Emily Korick gets the save in this one, and the loss for Carissa Della Vecchia after a strong game 1. Dolphins, once again, final score 5-4 after dropping the first half of this doubleheader 3-0. So for our entire crew here at CSI Sportsnet, to our statisticians Joe Masha and Anita Lorenzo, our engineer Joe Masha, for Joe Foreman, I'm David Pizzuto, wishing you a great rest of the weekend. We'll join you back here on CSI Sportsnet tomorrow afternoon, weather permitting. CSI softball versus the University of Bridgeport. First pitch scheduled for 4 p.m. Once again, from all of us to all of you, have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll see you next time here on CSI Sportsnet.